Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Wimlo. You are listening to the Hello and Welcome podcast presented by Betway for all your sports betting activities. Hit the QR code that you see here on the screen or follow the link in the description of the episode. So, today, we have a two-part episode. We are coming to you live on Sunday night after the most thrilling sporting event of the day. No, we're not talking about a 5.5-hour epic between Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner. No, we are not talking about the Nations League final with Portugal emerging victorious on penalties 2-2 over Spain. No, we're talking about Game 2 of the NBA Finals. OKC beat Indiana to tie the series. They win 123-107. Yet another masterclass by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is having an all-time season. Joining me to talk about this is friend of the program, Joe Wolfond of theScore. Wolfond, man, how did you find enough time in the day as a parent to watch 5.5 hours of tennis and then watch another 2.5 hours of basketball?
I mean, the 2.5 hours of basketball fortunately came after bedtime. The 5.5 hours of tennis involved, a lot of separate screen time for my daughter. I just, plopped her in front of a laptop and let her watch Bluey for several hours while I took in an absolute masterclass of a match. One of the best I've ever seen. And then we got to cap it off with this anticlimax. But, I mean, the funny thing about watching a Pacers game in this postseason is, even when it is a game that, just never is close on the scoreboard, you just never know, right? And so it's I remember there was a moment Aaron Nesmith hit a three when the Thunder decided to go zone, and that cut the lead to 17 with a couple minutes left in the third. And I'm is this a comfortable lead right now? It just doesn't entirely feel that way. Even though in any other circumstance against any other team, it would be I'd be ready to shut it down and go to bed. You never entirely know what's going to happen. And for that reason, I was almost a little surprised that Carlisle waved the white towel or the white flag, threw in the towel, mixing my metaphors here.
That's late.
When I think it was a 17-point game with 4 minutes left, which, again, any other circumstance, is totally reasonable decision. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking, I don't know, man. You're the Pacers. You can do this. You just got to get it to 9 points in the last minute, and you're right there.
Yeah. Johnny Furphy, the human white flag, man, just waiting there on the sideline.
A literal child.
He's a child. He really is. He looks so young in the face. But no, it was. I hear you because look, the NBA Finals games, there's gonna be another 2 off days right after this as they travel. And so, you could have pushed the minutes on guys like Aaron Nesmith, who played 26 minutes. Pascal only played 30. Miles Turner played 27. Andrew Nembhard played a decent amount. But, I think the story of this game for OKC was just, you needed to win this game if you were the Thunder. And I thought the first half, really, they came out, definitively took control. Outside of a mini 10-0 run in the second quarter there by Indiana. But, OKC thoroughly took control of the game, and I guess we're always waiting for the comeback to come because Indiana has done so many of those. But I think with Indiana's comebacks is that's one per series. The rest of the time they got to get 3 normal wins, and this one it really did not look that particularly close. I think what keeps standing out for me is just I just don't think anyone on Indiana or any scheme on Indiana has anything to do against Shai, because I thought Shai played close to a perfect offensive game kind of again. I mean, I thought he was great in game 1, too. He had 38 points. This one, he scores 34 points. But I thought between his own shot making and then also his assists, I thought he did a really good job passing tonight. Talk to me about Shai, man, because I feel like it's night and day, basically. You watch what Shai does versus what anyone else has done in the playoffs. It's absurd, man. He's clearly the best player in this whole playoffs.
Yeah, no, I did think that was kind of the difference between his game 1 and game 2 was I think he did a little better job setting the table in game 2. And I even thought early in the game there were points where he was being a little bit too passive almost, where I was it seemed like he was making a point of like getting other guys involved and not hunting his own shot as much. And then there were just, I mean, he had, I think, the 8 assists, but there were a bunch of like hockey assists as well, where especially like kicking out of post ups, where he's getting a switch and going right into the post, and the Pacers are hard doubling him, and the Thunder are getting like swing sequences out of that. And it's just a result of his scoring gravity, right? Like there's nowhere really on the floor where it's safe to leave anybody on an island against him, and especially anybody on this Pacers team. Like all the credit in the world to Andrew Nembhard, who's had like an unbelievable postseason run. Yeah. And I thought there were moments in game 1 when he was fantastic, even defending in isolation against SGA, but like they just don't have that one guy that you feel comfortable saying, okay, like we can leave you in single coverage, and like you're like,
does that one guy exist on planet Earth though?
Well, that's
who
I mean that's the thing.
Guarding Shai, man.
No, and like generally, not many defenses do that. Like against any opposing star, like top perimeter scorer, it's always going to be something like a team scheme, even if you're not hard doubling. Like you have guys pinching in, playing in the gaps, you know, making that sort of like stunt to the nail or a full on like next style rotation to cut off their drives. There isn't really like straight one-on-one defense in the league anymore, but there are certain guys where you can feel comfortable having like less help, less aggressive pinching behind him. And I don't think that guy exists. That matchup exists for Shai in the series. Does that guy exist on planet Earth? I mean, like, I don't know, maybe OG, like somebody like that. But yeah, I think it's, and I mean, look, it's not fair to like compare Halliburton to Shai, because like Shai was the MVP and he was at worst the second best player alive. But I do think what stood out in this game especially is just like the difference between those two guys in terms of like the resilience on the drive, like the resilience of the handle in traffic, and Shai's ability to like see bodies and keep his dribble alive and keep penetrating, like keep getting into the paint, either for scoring opportunities for himself or as a way to like collapse the defense and kick out and create shots for other guys. Whereas like when Halliburton's seeing that help come over, so often he's like doing the U-turn and dribbling it back out, or looking for like an immediate escape hatch and kicking it, and like not really creating significant advantages out of that. And I thought that was something that really stood out in this game. Yeah,
you know what? I think the number one thing with Shai that we learned today was just let's stop putting Benedict Mathurin on him. That just, I mean, I look, we just talked about
but that does speak to the lack of good options, right? Like that was like when Nembhard was not on the floor. I thought there was like Nesmith was out there on a couple of those occasions, and I thought they should have tried him instead of Mathurin in those situations. But it's like they don't have a ton of great individual options.
Yeah, and I think today, for me watching this game, especially in the first half, which is kind of where I thought the game was decided, because that created the big gap, and Indiana was playing uphill the whole way. I thought Indiana was caught sort of halfway between, are we going to sort of like live with Shai killing us one-on-one and then staying at home on shooters, or are we going to like force the ball out of Shai's hands? Like whenever they were trying to play in the gaps and try to play and give help, number one, they didn't really stop him. I mean, he still had 34 points, super efficient, shot 50% from the field, got to the free throw line a ton too, obviously. But it was the way he was able to pass early and also really accurately too. Sometimes with Shai, he like, I wouldn't even say he's not an accurate passer, but like he penetrates so deep, and then he like gets in certain spots the teammates may not know the pass is coming to them as much, and so you don't usually see him put up like huge assist numbers. But I thought today, like, he not only did he score, but he also set guys up, and I don't know. I mean, I think for Indiana, like, we've seen lots of teams zone OKC. Indiana is certainly not a stranger to zone. Maybe I would like to see a little bit more of that. But also, I think at certain points, you just have to make that sort of decision. Like, are you going to just, like, send two at Shai and just, like, take him out of the game entirely? And today was probably not the right time to do it, because, like, OKC's other guys were shooting threes well. A couple of those extra passes. There's that one where he ran a pick and roll with Hartenstein, and, 2-1 to the ball. Hartenstein short rolls, throws a lob to Chet Holmgren, and the rare two big lineups that they were playing. Like, that was good. And then also OKC's bench, man. I mean, like, this is one of the benefits of playing at home. But Aaron Wiggins, 2 step-back threes in the third quarter. I was like, damn, all right, yeah, Indiana not winning this game, man. Like,
yeah. No, but I mean, just to that earlier point, like that big-to-big passing sequence, Hartenstein to Chet, like, I mean, I don't think we saw a ton of overlap between those two guys in this game. Might have been like 6 or 7 minutes that they played together. I didn't fully get in game 1 why they were like so afraid. Like, okay, you want to change the starting lineup because you think that's the like more optimal setup for this series. Like, okay, I can sort of understand that, but like to like completely go away from too big to the point they didn't play it for a single minute in game 1, that I didn't totally understand, and it was nice to see it come back even for just a few minutes in this game because I think it's like super effective. And there were moments in game 1 where like they kind of had issues on the glass. I don't think that happened really in this game. And I also just think Hartenstein might be their best. I mean, he's their best like connective passer, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
And this is not an especially good passing team. I think it's like one of the few limitations for them. And it's part of the reason they just like, they don't pass the ball that often. I think they might have been like the single lowest per game passing team in the league during the regular season.
Interesting.
Or if not the very lowest, like they were close to the bottom. And that doesn't mean like they have a lot of different things that they do within their offense, and like it's not like they're a selfish offense. It's not like they're just like a pure ISO type of team, but I think they can simplify things because it's not like there's like A grade playmaking up and down the roster. And I feel like when Hartenstein is on the floor, the ball just pops a little bit more. It moves a little bit faster side to side. And he just greases the wheels in a way that I think they're lacking without him out there. So I don't know how many minutes he wound up playing in game 1, but I didn't think it was enough. I think he played 22 in game 2, which I still think he could be playing more than that. I think they could stand to be like playing him and Chet together a little bit more than they did, but it was nice to see them give him at least a little bit more run in this game, and I thought it benefited their offense especially a lot.
Yeah, you know, in hindsight, this should really be 2-0. OKC.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, they led for what, like 47? They led for all but 0.3 seconds of game 1. Especially when the margins are that fine. Like, you look back to the game 1, you're just like, why did they suddenly put AJ Mitchell into the rotation for the first half? You know, Isaiah Joe was with them. They benched all their bigs basically. And I think in playing those smaller guards, they should basically decided, look, we're going to play more of our guards, which again, like, it may not be the worst decision against Indiana, considering how much Indiana dominates with how many guards they put on the floor and how fast they play. But at the same time, like, I think that it's just objectively speaking, like a guy like Kenrich Williams, who I thought actually gave him like a nice little boost in 8 minutes that he played, was a plus 15. Just an objectively better player than AJ Mitchell. I don't really care about guards versus bigs. Like, he's just better, more experienced than he is right now. And kind of similarly with Hartenstein, it's just like he's just better than Isaiah Joe, who outside of like a catch and shoot 3 here or there isn't really going to impact the game much on either end. And so I like that point. And I also think that, like, yeah, I mean, because to your point, like OKC, especially in the half court, like, I wasn't impressed with the half court offense in game 1. Shai was dominant, and Lou Dort hit a bunch of threes, but outside of that, there wasn't much of it. But, you know, a lot of their offense starts off the dribble. They got to get into the paint, draw multiple guys, and then maybe start kicking it out and sort of making plays. Hartenstein does give you that option of, like, you know what, if there is a double on the ball, you can throw it to him in the middle of the floor with a bit of momentum. He's not really hitting that little push shot as much anymore. At one point, I thought him and Jakob Poeltl should go push for push at the next All-Star game. Not looking so enticing these days. Maybe we just leave that for Raptors OKC in November. But, like,
dude, I mean, All-Star Weekend is so cooked that a push shot competition might actually have some traction. Like, this is where we are.
Coming up next, Jakob Poeltl has been warming up. Do you think he will shave his shoulders for All-Star Weekend? But
God.
yeah, he does give them that sort of connected passing. But I also thought, like, I mean, the other story of this game was just, like, how much OKC's guys got to the likes of Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. And I don't care that Halliburton finished with 17 points. It felt like, 12 of those maybe even more were just in the fourth quarter when the game was at, like, 20 plus. He just randomly decided to like start shooting the ball. But what's really notable to me is Halliburton's turned the ball over a ton in the 2 games here, and that's like the number one thing that he doesn't do is turn the ball over. Is it?
Is that?
Wait, did that come through the mic? Hello?
Yeah,
Yo.
you're still here, Will. What's going on?
I heard some audio, but anyway, yeah. I think number one, like, it's one of those autoplay ESPN videos. Halliburton's voice started playing, so I thought, in any case, Halliburton's been turning the ball over a lot, and I think if you watch this game for the first 3 quarters, this guy had like 1 bucket. What did OKC do differently against Halliburton in this one?
I don't think they did that much differently against. Like, he wasn't having a great game in game 1 before he hit that game winner.
Sure.
Like I really thought, actually, like a huge aspect of the Pacers making their sort of fourth quarter run in game 1 was that they put the ball in Nembhard's hands and were like Halliburton, get off the ball, be almost like a decoy, like draw some defensive attention away, and they sort of trusted Nembhard in that game to like not get pushed off the ball. Like he was getting serious pressure, serious physicality from, Dort and other guys. And like, he's kind of like refusing to get pushed off the ball. He's chiseling his way toward the basket, getting kick out opportunities. Obviously he hit that monster step back 3 over Shai. And I thought that was actually kind of a big story. Like they didn't have to have the ball in Halliburton's hands. And interestingly, like the way that they got him going in the fourth quarter finally was not having him like initiate so many possessions. Like I thought when he was able to sprint into some of the handoffs, like that one sideline out of bounds play that they had that he got the dunk off of, where it was like
screen to screen.
Like the Spain pick and roll, but he gets it off of like the pitch play. So he gets a bit of a head of steam going to the basket. And then I want to say it was Ben Shepherd who flattened Chet with the Spain screen, and like I don't know, there was no communication from Wiggins on that screen, but like stuff like that. I feel like maybe getting him off the ball against this OKC pressure is actually a good way for Indiana to go, but I don't know. I mean, this is what we saw also in the regular season matchup between these two teams, right? It was. I think, like I wrote about this before the series. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I want to say it was like 12% his usage rate across those 2 games. Wow. And he averaged like 11 points and like 5 assists, and he only turned the ball over 1 time in those 2 games. But like, if that is the kind of, if the consequence of that, like that sort of like lack of aggression,
right.
Is or if like the upshot is like he was only turning the ball over once, but he's not really getting into the paint at all, not really like forcing the issue, not finding his way to the type of offense that we've seen him generate throughout this season, then I think that's a win for OKC. And like as far as what they're doing, I mean, it's just like they're showing him those bodies, they're pressuring him on the ball, and like when he's coming off of these screens, like he's seeing somebody in his driving gap. And that's where I go back to like that idea of resilience when you're driving the ball. And like Shai can see that body and like have a hesitation dribble and Euro step around that guy, or just sort of like continue to probe and like put the on-ball defender in jail on his hip and wait for something to open up, whereas Halliburton, it feels like, is too often just looking for like the first available pass or looking for a way to dribble the ball back out.
Yeah. I think the one thing with Halliburton too is just like, you saw him turn the ball over and like he had 5 turnovers tonight. It felt like 5 totally different turnovers. Like it was like.
The Shai steal, that's the one that sticks out in my head, which is like. There's nothing you can do about that. That was just an unbelievable play. Like from
that's where he's driving and he thinks that he's like he's free and he's like looking at the two defenders in front of him trying to figure out how to get a shot off. And Shai reaches in from the top of the floor somehow, and he's like almost in a split, basically.
I have no idea how he got his hand. Like, I have no idea.
And he's on balance to dribble it the rest of the way and lead the break, which is nuts for Shai. But like, he had the one where he stepped over half court just with some ball pressure. You had Lou Dort just like jumping into him and grabbing the ball off of him. Like, you had some bad passes where like you almost never see that from Tyrese Haliburton. The thing is, like, if Haliburton can't find a way to get comfortable or even find a matchup that he likes to attack, and OKC, part of the reason, I mean, the main reason they've gone so small is like they want to take away that pick and roll game that that starts the momentum for Indiana, especially in the half court, that blender where they're putting guys in the rotation. There's so many multiple actions, but again, that central action where they want to avoid Haliburton being able to sort of target one of these guys. I mean, for me, it was going to be Hartenstein if it was going to be anybody, and he's not playing as much, especially now that he's coming off the bench, so maybe he doesn't even match the same minutes. Like, it's pretty smart. And today, I even thought, like, when they had to live with it, Chet switching on to Haliburton, I thought he actually did a good job of smothering Haliburton one-on-one. It's just like, if Haliburton can't figure it out beyond what he's done so far in the two games, and I know game one, he gets the plaudits because he hits the game winner, but, like, he has not really gotten going in those two games. And then past that, like, that was obviously a pretty weak game from Pascal. He got to the foul line 9 times, went 8 for 9 from the foul line, which is nice. But 15 points, 3 of 11 shooting. I mean, Indiana has this weird thing where he's just not that involved, especially in the first quarters. I feel like Pascal's usage rate in first quarters might be like Pat McCaw levels, basically. But like, I don't know. Like, it didn't really feel like a game where Pascal could really get it going either. You don't really remember that much from him other than just him getting fouled a bit in the third quarter.
Yeah, and I think. There were a couple times where they tried to get him established in the post against a switch. Mm-hmm. And it just, like, that worked pretty well for them in game one. It just didn't really work at all in this game. And OKC generally, I think, is, like, so good at pressuring. Like, they apply pressure in like, situations where you don't usually see pressure applied. Mm. And one of them is, like, a bigger guy posting up a smaller guy. And, like, that seems like a mismatch. But really, like, they're just waiting to pounce on that entry pass. And they did that a bunch in game one. I mean, they stole a bunch of entry passes, and like that contributed to the 24 or 25 Pacers turnovers in that game. But that was also at points a reliable source of offense for the Pacers, and it wasn't really in this one. And I don't know, like part of that I guess is because they went away from it a little bit later in the game, but there just aren't really that many mismatches to actually hunt there. So one of them is like you try to get Pascal. Like the Shai matchup.
Yeah, him or Casey Wallace, like either of those two guys, I think you're pretty.
And on one of them, like Shai got one of his classic like Shai poke away steals from behind. It's like you're, and one of them he forced the turnover on Pascal. This was early in the game with the chair pull,
right? Yeah,
and nice. Pascal wound up traveling. It's like, there just aren't a lot of soft spots that you can attack in this Thunder defense, and like you have to be so on point, like so precise. And so intentional with everything you're doing, everything you're running, and like the execution that, and I didn't think, in spite of all the turnovers, I didn't think game one was like a perfect defensive game from OKC. I actually thought they made a lot of mistakes.
Interesting. Okay.
And in this one, like they turned the Pacers over less, but I thought they were kind of a little bit more selective maybe with their aggression. In some places, I thought they dialed it back a bit, and we're just like, let's see if somebody on the Pacers can like make a play. Like, let's see if they can attack one-on-one and make a play, and we'll trust our individual defenders, and maybe we won't be as aggressive with the gap help. And I just think it's their ability to like mix things up, right? Like they can be aggressive, they can scale that back, they can mix up their coverages, they can do almost anything. And even like, going back to what you were saying with like the too big thing, where it's like, part of the reason you think the Thunder didn't want to go to it maybe is like, well, then Hartenstein is like kind of one of the places that maybe Haliburton can attack and pick and roll. But also it's like, I don't know, if you got both bigs out there, I'd be fine switching Hartenstein onto Hallie and seeing what happens,
Sure.
And if you get beat off the dribble, like you got help defenders everywhere who are going to be able to cover for you. They scramble so well on the backside, and then you got another big man out there who can kind of protect the rim or rebound behind you. I just wouldn't be as afraid of going to that as they have been.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily I guess I kind of want Halliburton to prove it to me a little bit. It's weird to be like, yo, this man who hit a very memorable game winner, the defining moment of the series so far, like, prove it to me. But, like, he just hasn't created enough. And until he does that, like, I think you can sort of press your advantage a little bit more and more. I think ultimately, like, with the series going back to Indiana, I do expect some of Indiana's like role players to play a little bit better. I thought today clearly their bench got outplayed by OKC's bench. Again, the Aaron Wiggins step back threes, that's just that you just don't expect that to happen. Even Caruso's been a really like effective scorer in the 2 games so far, which you don't usually see from Caruso. Like today, Caruso had 20 points on 6-11 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3. That's probably what he's mostly doing, spotting up, but I think he's also using his physicality well on the inside. He's drawing fouls. He drew a couple fouls on Pascal in a row there in the third quarter. I thought Pascal got a little frustrated. But, like, I don't know. If I'm Indiana, like, I need Benedict Mathurin to make better decisions, which might be, it might be asking for a lot in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. But I thought Benedict Mathurin, I mean, he had some really impressive finishes, there's no doubt. But he's kind of like Kuminga, basically. But for a different team wearing yellow, because like he's frustrating to watch, man. Like the decisions made, and then the TJ McConnell minutes. I'm like, like today he played well, but I'm still like, like I don't like him having the ball in his hands for like 15 seconds per possession,
Yeah, but that's the thing about McConnell, right? If he's going to be on the floor and the ball's not in his hands, like he
does nothing. Yeah, well, he's getting dared to shoot.
No, he does nothing. It's just like whoever's guarding him is going to be like completely ignoring him and parked in whatever space the Pacers might want to attack. So when he's out there, like it really just makes sense to have the ball in his hands, right? Like he's an effective creator. He's going to be able to get into the teeth of the defense. He's fast. And like he can kind of give them a jolt. Like he gives them a jolt of pace and just some rim pressure, which they really weren't getting a lot of in this game. Yeah. But if he's out there and he's playing off of the ball, he's just cramping your spacing. So,
well, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe it's just a credit to OKC's defense, because when I watch them, I'm just like, you are dribbling the whole time, man, and you like dribble through. They don't go for the pump fake. Then you nash it out. You still got the ball. You're still dribbling. The guy's still on you. You got another screen. You try to drive again. Maybe you do the little short pull up. I'm just like, oh man, like this is the whole possession was kind of about you. If you're Rick Carlisle, what's like the number one thing you want to look to adjust if you're Indiana? Like, is there any sort of like easy meat on the bone where it's like if we do this a little bit better, we have a better chance of? I mean, they've done what you would hope to do, which is to sort of steal home court advantage in the first 2 games, but press that advantage once they return to Indianapolis.
I mean, I think it is really just like finding those ways to get Hallie more involved as a scorer, like find ways to get him into the middle of the floor. Like he was just having no success whatsoever touching the paint through the first 3 quarters of the game. And so I think part of that obviously is on him, but part of it is on the coaching staff too, to figure out ways to help him do that, to kind of open those opportunities up for him a bit. So I think that's probably priority number 1.
Would you want like Nembhard initiating a little bit more so that you can get Halliburton coming off of screens off ball or coming off with some movement, or maybe even Pascal?
I mean, it could be
Pascal
that
never initiates offense with their starting lineup, but like maybe even a little bit.
No, I think find ways to kind of get him like in motion off of the ball a little bit more, and like. I'll maybe run like a little bit more of that Spain action, or like more of the double drag stuff. And I don't know. I think obviously it's maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is just sort of like I'm over indexing on the result, but it felt like the Pacers had a little bit more pace in like their half court offense in game 1, at least in the second half of game 1, than they did in this one. Like they just felt a little bit more stagnant to me. So it's like always, especially against a defense as like good and as dialed in as OKC, like you just have to move with so much pace and purpose to find holes in what they do. Because I mean, in this game, like we know that they're going to pack the paint, like they're going to give up threes as a consequence of that. But I thought they just did such a good job of rotating in this game. Like there weren't a lot of like clean, comfortable threes that I felt like they were giving up
they
in this
blocked,
one. Whereas
they
I actually
blocked,
thought
like, two corner threes with like just crazy closeouts, man. Like
yeah. So I think, just obviously that's like the biggest thing, right? Like if Halliburton is gonna play like he played in this game, I think it's gonna be really tough sledding for Indiana moving forward.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure. What was your pick coming into the series? Because I think I had the stereotypical OKC in 5.
I also picked OKC in 5, and like I think that's still on the table. If I were to like revise my pick now, I would probably say OKC in 6.
Yeah, same.
I think again, like my expectation would be that Indiana gets one at home, but I picked OKC in 5. You picked OKC in 5. A lot of people picked OKC in 5 because I think we all think that the Thunder are the much better team in this series. They played like it tonight. That's kind of how that game tonight is how I expected the series to go. Like that's what I expected to see in game 1. That's sort of what we saw for parts of game 1. It just didn't sustain for the entire game. And I think like the Thunder's half-court offense was bad enough in that game that the Pacers were allowed to stick around for long enough to make the comeback that they did, in spite of kicking the ball around like crazy for the first half.
Yeah. All right. Well, then before you go, as also a Raptor fan as well, because by the way, I did recount on a recent episode where this is back in 2018, Raptors Cavs first round, game 1. You remember when the Raps had that big lead and.
I remember? Yeah.
They couldn't get that shot to drop at the end. Ian Eagle says, "There's a lid on the rim." I remember after the Raps lost in overtime in that game, I think you threw a backpack across the room in the office. And you, me, and John Chick, the 3 NBA editors on shift that night, went downstairs to get some fresh air. And when we came
fresh air, yes. That's how I remember it as well.
When we came back upstairs, our supervisor at that time was just like, "Where did you guys go?" And I'm like, you know what? You're right, actually. That's our bad, because like we totally got lost in the motion of the game. Anyway, as our resident Raptor fan, before we get you out, where are you at with this Giannis and KD stuff? Are you even buying it first and foremost? Are you allowing yourself to get excited about this opportunity to potentially cover these guys in person starting next season?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Would I bet on it happening? No.
Yes,
Probably more likely that it won't. But yeah, I mean, if you're not at least allowing yourself to get a little bit excited, to dream on the possibility of, the Giannis especially, because he has been like the white whale for this franchise for a while, right? Like
12 years and counting.
Then I don't know. I mean, like you can convince yourself that you're a jaded fan or you're a dispassionate fan, or it's like, you've been burned too many times by the chase, the Kawhi thing, Ohtani, whatever. Like, I get it, but like, if you're a fan and you are emotionally invested in the team, I just feel like you're lying to me and yourself if you're saying that you're not at least allowing yourself to get a little bit excited, to dream a little bit.
Yeah.
On the possibility. And I think, I've like turned it over in my head and like had conversations with people a bunch about like what it would look like and different constructions and would you or wouldn't you? And it's like, there's basically no scenario in which I wouldn't. Like, it's Giannis, man. Like, if there's a way you can get it done, and I don't know, I mean, like the recent reporting from Jake Fisher was like, it's not happening. Like he wants to stay in Milwaukee, which
I think he re-clarified. And he said nobody really knows what he's doing. By the way, for anyone who follows Giannis on Instagram, which I have done for the last 3 days, because I'm allowing myself to believe in this thing. This guy's just straight up having a great time in Brazil right now. Like we're watching like football matches on a beach somewhere. Obviously, he's with his family. He's dancing with family. Like. I don't imagine he's like fretting about where he's going next if he's just playing futsal on a boat in Brazil at the moment. But yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, who knows what the validity of that is? I mean, I will say, like, if there is a guy who, like, a superstar who would just be like, no, I'm good. Like, I got my championship. I'll stay in Milwaukee. I'm happy here. My family's happy here. I feel like it would be Giannis. And I firmly support, anyone in his position who has worked so hard to get to where he is, to make his own decisions for his own reasons, right? Like, he doesn't owe it to anybody. And if he cares more about like his family's happiness and like the comfort and security and like the idea of like being with one franchise for his whole career, if he cares more about that stuff than like winning another championship, then great, power to him. As a basketball fan, I think that would suck. Like, it would really suck to watch him squander the last, few years of his prime on a team that is not going anywhere. So I'm hoping that, whether it's the Raptors or not, obviously I'm hoping it's the Raptors, but you just want to see him like really contending for championships for the next few years, because he's one of the greatest we've ever seen. Literally. And he should be playing basketball that matters.
I've been thinking about this question a lot too, not just because this is my job on this pod, but also, you run into people on the street and people are like, "Oh, let's talk Raps," and I'm like, "Okay," and then quickly pivot the conversation to Giannis. I keep coming back to two things I can't really argue against. If you're not willing to trade your best trade package for Giannis, then who are you willing to trade your best trade package for? Right? Because that list probably doesn't even go up to 5 names. If you're really thinking about it, right? So if you're not willing to do this, then you're basically not willing to blow up this team. And my other question is, the Raptors aren't that good that I can't touch this team. In fact, the Raptors are mid enough that I would like to make a big adjustment to the team. And so, yes, of course, like I'm very pro. I'm very pro trade. Again, like you would need several steps to sort of make it happen. This KD thing, we'll bring in Alex actually right after this. But yeah, this KD thing is also popping up. That's the one for me. I'm just like, wait, hold on. Like, what is this? Like, we're just gonna have KD and Brandon Ingram. Like,
has there been anything specific like linking KD to Toronto, or just the idea that like he's obviously gonna get traded, and why wouldn't we be in the mix?
Okay, hold on. Let's bring in Alex. Alex, I know you're just sitting on standby here. I believe you're the one that wants to discuss Kevin Durant. So if we can just get you to turn your camera on, please, and pop on here with the live reporting, or what is the current reporting. Alex, what's going on, doggy?
Yo, what's up? Are you wearing OVO?
Yeah, man.
Oh, we still doing that publicly? Or?
Come on,
That's
man.
cool. Okay.
Nokia, baby. I hear Nokia on the streets.
Yo,
I don't
what
hear
up?
that da, no more, man.
Yo, what up, Wolfond? I tapped in late. Did you talk about the tennis match or what, bro?
It was mentioned.
It was mentioned. He mentioned that this is one of. Am I right to say this is one of the best matches you've ever seen?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
You don't think there's Nadal Federer? There's got to be a Nadal Federer in there that was better than this, though, right?
I said one of, but I will say, for me, like Nadal Federer was great. I was always more of like a Nadal Djokovic rivalry kind of guy. Like I thought their rivalry in pure tennis terms was better. They played better, more epic matches than Nadal Federer did. Nadal Federer just like everybody loved both of those guys, and like there was like a lot of emotion wrapped up in that.
Sure.
But in tennis terms, Nadal Djokovic to me was the better rivalry, and like the one that I will always remember that I didn't think I would ever see topped was Australian Open Final 2012.
I saw that.
Almost 6 hours.
Oh yeah,
and
man. Marty Fish? No, okay.
Yeah, Marty Fish played in that tournament.
There we go.
Let him.
Anyway, the match I watched today, I think might have topped it. Genuinely,
That match was that. As a very, very casual tennis fan, that match was so good. I stopped my plans for the afternoon to just tap in. And Alex, where did you go?
We started talking tennis and he tapped out.
What's going on, man?
Just a background production note. Alex's camera is messing with him, but he is still in there. Alex, you can still talk to us.
Oh, I'm fucking back, baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you and Vivek talk tennis a lot and stuff? Are you guys friends?
It's pretty. Yeah, it's like most of what we talk about, I would say.
I feel like you guys would just be geeking out over this stuff all the time, especially with like the current generation now and stuff, man. Yeah, still the second best
What-
center I saw next to the Ryan Coogler movie, but yeah.
Oh, I knew that joke was coming.
Yeah. My bad.
I know we want to jump ahead to sort of like making comparisons to the past. I can definitely see the similarities between Alcaraz and a Nadal. Even just like, I don't know, like they're both Spanish players. They both play really well on clay, as we saw here tonight. How close is Sinner to like one of those other like? I mean, we were so blessed to literally grow up in that era with like the big three. Is he close or even on par with that level? As a more casual tennis fan, I was like, oh, Sinner. Okay, yeah, Sinner, number one. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think so. Like,
Okay.
his game is so unbelievably solid.
Wolfond's like, I don't want to talk to you casuals about
Sorry,
this.
man. This would be like, yo, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander guy.
No, he is. I mean,
he
look,
good?
what really like separated the three of those guys was just like the sustained excellence over a really long period of time, right? So it's like if Sinner and Alcaraz can play, like Alcaraz is like a little more up and down. Sinner's baseline is just like super high. He's very consistent. If he can play at the level he's been playing at, like consistently, you know, for another 10, 12 years, then yeah, like he'll be in that echelon. He's unbelievable. So, all right.
Someone in the chat said Wolfond talking to himself.
You guys are asking me the questions, man. I'm just trying to be a good guest and answer them as best I can.
You're right.
This is what happens when there's a boring ass finals game, man.
No, come on, guys. This is exciting. Alex, we brought you in to talk Kevin Durant rumors.
Wait,
man.
I want to
That's what
talk more
Wolfond was
tennis.
asking. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let's talk more tennis, man.
How did you feel about because I've been a really big fan of just catching them online, but all of Andre Agassi's like analysis has been like incredible. His breakdowns, like how have you felt about that?
I've only seen like
Those clips, yeah.
the clips, but like amazing. And yeah, I was like a big Agassi fan growing up. His book is amazing. Open, his autobiography, one of the best sports books you'll read. Genuinely.
I saw.
Did you know he was bald?
What?
Like
What?
when he was wearing the wig, you mean?
He was
like,
wearing a wig. You
Yeah,
guys
no,
know
I
this, though,
didn't.
right?
I didn't know until I read his book.
That's
It was a
crazy.
shocking
Wait,
discovery.
he played wearing a wig?
He played wearing
Yes.
a wig for a while. So like some of those like iconic looks that you saw Andre Agassi
Oh.
have, like yeah.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Not enough people wear wigs. I'm not gonna lie.
But
to
like
you,
it was
man.
crazy because he wore a wig, like because you know like in the NBA where it's like you just see
Sure.
people desperately hanging on for the last bit of hair. Like he wore a wig and then he embraced like full bald. Like he just went.
Yeah.
It's like
Trey,
that. I
Trey
think-
Young's got to embrace full bald.
right.
He's-
It's like
he's
that.
one
I
of
think
those
you should
guys.
leave sketch,
Man.
where it's like you just progressively have a wig like slowly reduce until they're like full bald. Yeah. All right, on to basketball.
Sorry, I'm looking up the pictures of his wig. It's a large wig.
Oh,
Like-
is this
Oh,
like
it's a
during
Kristen
his,
wig.
his mullet era and everything?
No, he's got hair like Kristen Wiig. Like,
Yeah. No, I mean like the hair was real at some point, and then
There was
Okay.
just like
lost
a
it
point
and
where
and had to keep up appearances.
oh, okay. Because like I thought it was like he had a wig, like like he taped like a little toupee at the top or something, like, but he had like a fade or something. Like, no, his hair is like is everywhere. He's like Steven Adams basically. In all these photos I'm searching for. Okay, Alex, Kevin Durant rumors. Please
Oh,
save us. Holy
right,
shit, man.
right. What's going on, man? Yeah, Jake Fisher also was saying that Toronto has been painted by numerous NBA figures as a potential
Welcome
trade
everyone to Alex's
suitor
six pack, by the way.
for
thank
Kevin
God.
Durant, particularly if Giannis doesn't reach the open market. And like you guys were saying, I guess the reporting right now is Giannis has not requested a trade yet. So to get KD, I've seen the offers floated out there. I guess to make the money make sense, you'd have to throw in RJ and Jakob Poeltl. That would make sense. That would make the money work. But you're
Who's
giving
playing
away
center for us?
two
You
starters.
know what? Never mind. We're getting KD. Never mind.
Two starters for KD did make me pause a little bit. I'm kind of happy with KD if we get Giannis as well. But if it's just KD alone and you're giving up two starters, I don't know.
Wow.
I actually would pause at that. As like the biggest KD lover, I still pause.
Yeah,
at
you
that.
love KD, man.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. That deal would be a no for me. Like
Okay,
that
okay.
team without Yak, the team without Yak would be fucked. Like they would.
KD is a different conversation. Like I think Giannis is like for sure, like you guys mentioned, like if you can make it happen, let's make it happen. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what the assets are on the table.
True.
KD does feel like a much different conversation.
Yeah, and by the way, I think that's a note both ways. 'Cause I think, with all due respect to whatever Kevin Durant's availability is, and I'm sure his stock has dropped some. I think a Suns fan should be burning down the building if they get RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl
Agreed.
back. With all due respect to those two guys, but I think even from a Toronto perspective, it'd be weird. I mean, you would be again, with all due respect, because it's Kevin Durant, and he would be like the best player that's ever played for the Raptors outside of Kawhi that one season. You have Scotty playing center again? I mean, that didn't go so well last time it happened, man. I'm just saying, like that was one of the many fractures in that 2022-2023 team, was having to put Scotty at center all the time, and he wasn't happy with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
you can't be a good team. Like, I think
And you
we've
have-
seen
and-
it like time and again. Like, if you don't have quality center play, it's
Yeah.
going to be really, really difficult to be even respectable.
Right. And having, again, like, having a lot of a good thing is usually a lot of a good thing, but having Brandon Ingram being like a diet KD while you also have KD is just weird. Like,
Not the Diet Coke KD, man.
no,
I think
it's like drinking Coke and Pepsi at the same time. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, we might have to try a separate beverage.
what's wrong with that? No, I
No
think
one's ever done that, though.
I think you make a good point, and it's so weird. Like, I know KD's gotten up there in age. Like, you can talk about the slippage in his game, but KD should have just never signed those damn extensions and just got to pick his next like destination. Like, he's so difficult to trade.
Oh, now we want to see KD do exercise free agency. Huh?
No, but
'Cause
KD
last time he did it, it was such a great pleasure for him.
KD just made it difficult on himself. Just like he's he's a really tough player to trade for, especially at his age. So I don't know. I mean, the Spurs have been mentioned, the Rockets have been mentioned.
Those are great fits
And-
for him, man.
yeah,
He should.
Yeah, the Rockets are the one that I think makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And
he'd
it
be a
doesn't sound
perfect
like the
fit there.
price is going to be that crazy at this point. He's got 1
Yeah,
year
like
left.
they
on
have
his
the
deal.
assets and they have the infrastructure where like he could get there and join like a ready-made contender.
Yeah, and they're not going to tear down the team. They don't have to tear down the team to get him.
Yeah, like they have the like perfect defensive infrastructure, and then like he just is like brings the exact skill that they are missing. It's like if you could pick like an amalgam of like skills and just like put them into an NBA player's body and be like, this is the player that the Rockets need. It looks a lot like KD.
If you're the Spurs, would you make a move for KD?
I mean, obviously, all of this is like depends on cost, right? So,
Sure. But you're not giving up Wemby. You're not giving up.
no, obviously, you're
Even
not giving up
Fox,
Wemby.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't
like,
even think the Suns could pry that. They're not going to pry the number 2 pick from the Spurs.
No. I wouldn't put that on the table
Yeah.
if I was the Spurs. If it's like Vassell and Sohan and I don't know, like a couple
They need
of
a
other
center,
picks.
man. Who's that white boy? Zach Collins? Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Sandro Mamashkavili, man.
No. We're keeping Mama
Yeah.
Shkafili, man.
Mamashkavili killed the Raps in Game 82, man. I don't know. I think you saw that.
It's better than Mama's spaghetti, man.
That's for the Pistons.
Okay, so KD to Toronto, I feel like it's not it's kind of iffy for you guys.
I think. What do you guys think about this general idea that like the whole league expects the Raptors to be desperate? Because it kind of sounds like the Raps are like, we want to make a big move no matter what, which is not a particularly great strategy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if wanting a specific guy, I totally understand, but like, we need to make a big trade no matter what doesn't really sound like a strategy. It sounds like a gimmick.
Well, it just sounds crazy too, because it seems like they went from a rebuild suddenly to trying to speed run all the way to being a contender next season.
Right,
And you
well, I mean-
don't really get to do it that way. And it's not like you have the assets right now to swing like one trade and suddenly you're going to be a contender. Like, you get Giannis, you're going to take a little bit to build that team up too. So it's a weird spot because Masai never been a type of guy that's like been in a rush.
Yeah, but he's got what, a year left on his
Yeah,
deal?
now
Like,
he sounds like.
now's
I mean,
a
it makes
rush.
sense. It makes sense, but like now he's in a rush.
But do you want him to be rushed? You know what I mean? Like, I would like him to make the best trades possible for the Toronto Raptors. But if the idea is he has a year left and he's negotiating a contract extension and there's ownership change, and that's the driving force behind the Raptors wanting to make a big push and make another move, it's just like, I start to get a little iffy because like I trust Masai implicitly, I really do, but at the same time, the response to the motivation should always be we're trying to build the Raptors the best way we can, not like we need to sort of make a move so that some other things can come in.
Well,
okay, but it's like thinking about who's out there, right? Like I don't see. I think there's a way to read this where it's like they are desperate to make a move for Giannis and not necessarily for anyone else. Because I don't look around the trade landscape and see anybody else where it's like you're putting a Godfather offer on the table for that guy.
Okay.
That's like, if it doesn't work out, it's going to set you back like 5 years, you know? And I think Giannis is the rare guy where it's like you feel okay about mortgaging your future to get that guy.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
And I don't feel comfortable doing that for 37-year-old KD, and I don't feel comfortable doing that for really anybody else who might conceivably be out there on the market. So it's like,
you don't want Domantas Sabonis? Yeah.
I don't not want Domantas Sabonis, but I don't want to like give up, a bunch of like a couple of prospects and like 3 first-round picks for Domantas Sabonis. And I don't think Masai Ujiri does either.
I flat out do not want Domantas Sabonis. Actually, I don't enjoy watching dribble handoff basketball for 40 plays a game. This one from the chat: we should go after Garland.
Yeah,
I know you're a big Garland guy.
I'm a huge Garland guy.
Yeah. What are you saying if Cleveland says, hey, listen,
Yo, take quickly. Yeah.
No, what is Cleveland saying?
Shake
This
things
is like
up.
let's move that conversation along to its logical endpoint.
Okay.
Like, how are you getting him?
So Cleveland's a little fucked right now because they're in the second apron. Mobley, congrats on getting Defensive Player of the Year, but that also means you got a lot more money and somehow fucked your team backwards.
Not the way the system should be, but yeah.
It's fine. I don't mind it. So I think in their case, they might be looking to sort of make a couple moves. I would probably think they want someone more defensively sound to pair with Mitchell. If they do indeed break up Garland, who, by the way, has been really, really good for Cleveland. I mean, he was just an all-star, for example, once again this past year. But, if Toronto were to, like, I guess, I don't know. Do you think Toronto should sniff in on a guy like Garland? Because he has a lot of skills that the Raptors are missing on the roster right now. A lot.
Yeah, man, they should check in. Absolutely. Like, if the Cavs are in any way interested in Brandon Ingram, if they think that's the answer to
Brandon Ingram.
This is what I'm saying. Brandon
so
Ingram is
funny,
going to
man.
end up being a guy who got a four-month tour of the OVO athletic facility.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I feel like depending on the return, Raptors fans would be okay with that.
Absolutely, if they return as Darius Garland, they'd be over the moon, man. Like we should put Ingram's jersey in the rafters just for that.
Okay, so in this scenario, I have to ask because like
this can't be legal CBA.
No.
Man.
I have to ask. So let's say whatever the trade happens, and then opening night it's Toronto Cleveland, right?
Oh, it's always Toronto Cleveland on opening night.
No, but tell me what's the tribute video for Brandon Ingram? Like what do you put on that tribute video? Yeah.
I mean, I think he had a couple quippy answers in his introductory press conference.
Yeah, right.
There was that sick photo they took of him like outside of Scotiabank. It was snowing outside. He was looking.
Yeah.
It's a selection of Will's pre-game videos taped on his Pixel, like just recorded and posted. Not even resized, just like there's black bars on both sides, and just Will getting excited about it.
They might have to license those photos from us, man. Those videos.
That's what that's gonna cost you, man. For the footage of
leverage talk.
No. Sorry, you looked at your phone. And you said, "Oh, I got excited," but I realized it's Sunday in June. No breaking news is really happening like that. But I mean.
Yeah, so Darius,
Garland would be really interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Garland does a lot of things that the Raptors don't.
I want Garland, man, and I know I've seen this graphic floating around that Pascal's 2% Chinese. Is that NBA Centel?
There's no way Pascal's 2% Chinese, man.
Darius
I would have known
Garland.
about this a long time
We know
ago.
Darius Garland is also 2% Chinese. Yeah. So
we'll explain to you.
We'll explain to you.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Wolfond, this is
right answer.
Wolfond. Either you're staying for another hour, or this is your chance to escape.
Yeah, this is your off ramp, buddy.
I love you guys. See you later.
Hey, appreciate
Peace,
you,
bro.
Joe Wolfond. Read everything Wolfond writes. Just literally one of the best writers in the game, bar none.
Cheers, man. Appreciate that. See you later.
All right. As we bounce Wolfond out of here, man.
He escaped that quick.
This is the real Yannick Sinner versus Carlo Alcatraz, man. Remember you call him Carlo? Carlo?
You just called him Alcatraz.
No, I was a reference to the last couple episodes ago. Remember when you said called him Carlo Alcatraz?
He had Sinner in jail today.
No, the funniest thing was us keeping Wolfond here talking tennis, and he's like, "You guys don't know shit about tennis."
No, he legit treated us like casuals. He didn't even give us an it when you were like, "Yo, I'm seeing the comps from the past generation." He's like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's good. I'm like, okay.
Yo, getting treated like a casual sucks.
Nah, I was a casual. I mean, I tapped in for like the fifth set, but I mean, it was great, man.
I was enjoying the beautiful weather, this weekend. Hope everybody in Toronto got to hit up the illustrious, Due West Fest.
Oh, I think everyone in the whole city was at Due West Fest, man.
Yeah, chat. If you were at Due West Fest, put in your highlights. Did you see that person get beheaded? Dundas and Palmerston.
The little Marie Antoinette pantomime.
Yeah. What were the highlights? All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so series tied 1-1 now. So the question here is, I saw this graphic the other day about just toughest playoff runs based on net rating, which I know you love.
Oh yeah. Okay, here we go.
It's possible we are watching the greatest modern day playoff run. Like if the Pacers pull off this run.
Oh yeah.
By net rating during the 16-game era. I'm so tired of these different eras.
Okay.
During the 16-game playoff era, this will have been the toughest opposition based on net rating. Let's see. Milwaukee... just from an eye test before we even go through some of these teams, like from just like an eye test standpoint, do you feel like they've had a tough path?
Well, I mean, this is a team that's now played 2 60-win teams along the way, right? With Cleveland, which they beat in 5, and OKC, which are currently playing right now. Milwaukee was already pretty good as well. Like the record-wise, regular season, like Indiana and Milwaukee, I think were separated by like 1 or 2 games. Plus, they have Giannis. Of course, a lot of things went wrong for them, including Dame going down with the Achilles. And then even the Knicks were a pretty good regular season team. I to be honest, if you were to ask me this question in terms of like which team had the hardest path ever that played 4 series, so at least got to the finals, my number one answer would have been 2011. Another team coached by Rick Carlisle, the Mavericks.
Yeah, so they're on here in the top 6 here. So Portland.
Portland. Well, that's Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge, Portland.
I'm pretty sure they went up 3-0 in that series and then had to go to a Game 7. And then the Lakers, this was the last of the Lakers. They had come off 3 straight finals appearances, 2 straight finals wins.
They were defending 2-time defending champions, and they beat them in this one.
This sent Phil Jackson to retirement until he came back again with the Knicks as an executive.
I guess he retired twice, huh?
Yeah, only wrote 1 scathing book in between.
Yeah, only wrote 1 book where he's like, Kobe's uncoachable.
It's like coming up, Kobe sucks again. And then OKC, that up and coming OKC team in the conference finals.
Yeah,
I remember Dirk and that team had a crazy comeback in that conference finals. That was a great series. And then of course Miami, they're down 1-0 to the Heatles. They're down 15 in the second game and end up coming back. And then end up winning that series. Once again, people forget Jan Mahimi was huge in those finals for the Mavs.
Jan Mahimi stand, man. You bring him up all the time, man.
That is a legendary run, though. Like ending that little Kobe era. Like OKC was trying to come up, and they were like, no. And of course, I think just beating LeBron in his first year in Miami alone, like that was almost enough because they were overwhelming favorites.
The funny thing was like I think that team like. The majority of like the voters, you know how they always put the ESPN has a panel of voters. I think the majority picked against Dallas in all 4 rounds.
Yes, Tim McMahon famously said, I think he picked against them. Yeah, like throughout the entire playoffs. Because
that's why he's banned McMahon, man.
But this was Dallas. This was Dallas coming off. Like this was just a few years after they were upset by the We Believe Warriors.
Sure.
Like it felt like Dirk's time had passed. And, of course, Dallas had gone to the finals, played Miami, the Dwayne Wade, Shaq Heat in, 06, right?
The free throw merchant era, man.
Oh,
have people looked at those numbers, by the way, from Dwayne Wade. I'm gonna look up the box scores. Hold on.
I swear he was shooting like 20 free throws.
It's not an exaggeration to say that. There were many games where he shot 20 plus free throws, and in that finals.
That was also the end of one of my favorite guys in that era, Josh Howard, because he had a unfortunate timeout.
This guy had Josh Howard and Yamini.
I had Josh Howard stock, man. Yeah, I was on Josh Howard Island, man, buying a beachfront property.
You know what, Josh Howard low-key did have some pretty good years. He had a couple like years where he averaged like.
Nah, Josh Howard was like a sick role player type, man. But yeah, so Mavs are a good call because they're on there. You're a little bit too young for this.
For what?
For the never underestimate the heart of a champion, 95 Rockets.
Oh yeah, I only got the never underestimate the heart of a champion Toronto Raptors.
Yes. You got the Timu version. So they beat Malone and the Jazz in round 1. They beat Barkley and the Suns in round 2. That's not, man. Yo, honestly. Is this how I am in the morning? Because you after midnight is a problem.
What? I drank extra tea for this, man.
Yo, I don't think that's gonna work, man. How many hamster murders are we gonna admit to tonight, man?
Well, I never know, man.
And then beat David Robinson and the Spurs. I want to say this was famously the year that David Robinson won MVP, and then Hakeem just absolutely roasted him every game.
It's that Hakeem dream shake that's been played like a million times. It's one of the prettiest buckets of all time. I don't care.
Yeah, and then they were heavy underdogs against Shaq Penny and the Magic, and this is the finals when Nick Anderson misses 4 free throws in game 1.
Damn.
Kenny Smith hits a huge 3, sends it to overtime. They end up sweeping Orlando. To me, that's the most memorable run next to the 2011 Mavs. I think those are the two.
You know a run is legendary when you can just tell the story of that run with one quote. You know what I mean? And never underestimate the heart of a champion is like, it just sums up that whole run that I wasn't around for.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade for that series, by the way, 2006 finals against Dallas. Dwayne Wade in his third year, again, like he was super impressive. Like, you know, there's no doubt. Love D Wade as a player. But at game 5, shoots 25 free throws for a 1-point win over Dallas in overtime. Dwayne Wade goes 11 of 28 from the field and 21 of 25 from the foul line. In game 6, where they win, and he plays 45 minutes, so he only rested for 3. Shot 16 of 21 from the foul line. Game 3 of this series also shot 13 of 18 from the foul line, man.
I'm sure there's listeners that remember watching that finals, and like you just had to be there for those 20 plus free throw games. Like the calls were just like egregious. That's why sometimes when I think we talk about a Harden or an SGA, like it doesn't resonate in that way because I feel like we've seen worse. And Dwayne Wade in that 06 finals was like,
it's one of the most frustrating experiences. Like I was cheering for the Mavericks, and I'm just like, every play turns into a foul, and like you can't win the game when just you're constantly getting free buckets.
Yeah.
That was the height of that. Was Tim Donaghy in any of those games, man? I feel like he
might have been actually. It was in and around that time. Yeah.
That was a fun finals though, man.
I mean, those were pretty fun finals. So
it was a shame because, like you mentioned, all those other field goals he had. Like he was an exceptional player. Just
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, this was his 3rd year too, man. Like,
yeah, it was insane.
Take nothing away from Dwayne Wade. It's just this is that Bennett Salvatore era, man.
Oh, Bennett Salvatore, the most mafia sounding ref ever, man. Like if this guy was not in Goodfellas or Casino, man, no way, man.
Oh, but he was the first of that draft class to win, right? So like it was a big deal at the time.
It was really impressive, man. Yeah, Dick Bavetta, he coached, he officiated some of these. Mike Callahan as well, man.
Oh, that's another. Yeah. These
are some throwback names, man. Dan Crawford, of course, man.
That was big finals, man. Got Shaq his 4th, right? And he did the whole Kobe. Tell me how my ass tastes.
Yo, you know what? Kobe really got Kobe got. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole era for Kobe.
NBA beefs were kind of stupid back then too.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten any better, man.
The only thing now is the beefs have translated to player podcasts. So
yeah. Or like Joel Embiid tagging fake locations on IG. God, I hate Embiid. Anyways, next up, couple of other items from these finals here. So we saw tonight Mike Breen give a little sympathy bang. I guess I could word this better. To Tyrese Halliburton.
He gave him a sympathy bang. Is sick, man.
He said bang on the broadcast. God damn it.
He's like, damn, Tyrese, fine. Here you go, bang.
Like
Ooh,
a 3 in the
3-0 Pacers, bang.
Bang in the warm-ups. Yeah, 3 in the first quarter there, and he was, kind of said it in jest because Mike Breen was asked why Halliburton's game 1 winning shot didn't get a bang, and his official explanation was he saves those for threes.
Sure.
So my question to you is, what do you think of Mike Breen's rule for bangs? Because that was a pretty far shot from Halliburton. It met the moment, which apparently is his nickname. Do not mention the other ones.
The moment.
Do not mention the other ones. Yeah, the moment is his official new nickname.
Why is that name banned?
On Basketball Reference. Thoughts on only saving bangs for threes?
We're talking about a Hall of Famer, man. Mike Breen, as much as maybe he gets no help, Mike Breen in that Nikola Jokic zone right now, man.
My latest nitpick with Doris Burke, why is she referring to people by first names? Yeah. Heard her talk about Alex tonight. I was like, what's going on? It was Caruso.
Caruso?
She's like, what a cut from Alex. I was like, yo, me?
I cut? No, but it's Mike Breen's in that Nikola Jokic zone, man. Like he hooping with Michael Porter Jr. He cooking with Russell Westbrook. Like, what do you want him to do? He has to say bang and mama, there goes that man, basically. And that's never been fair to him. You know what I mean?
I think Halliburton's game 1 shot deserved a bang.
But what about puts it in? Like that's a pretty iconic one.
I think that shot deserved a bang. I think it's too strict to say just threes, man.
We might be nitpicking the broadcast too much.
It feels like you're tapping into a thing that I didn't think about, that this is such an indication of the 3-point era, because you're telling me all of Jordan's shots wouldn't get a bang?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Breen would have given that game 6
Or if you don't even want to go that far back, how about the Kobe game winner against the Phoenix Suns? That's not a bang?
That's gotta be a
puts it in is so bad, man.
Puts it in's pretty good. What do you mean, man? You don't
man.
Mike Breen with a tough bucket puts it in.
I don't like puts it in. I like when Kevin Harlan starts calling someone a flamethrower. Like that one always gets me excited.
That's
man.
really
good.
Yeah. But man. No, that's not a puts it in. Man.
Low key, is Kevin Harlan better than Mike Breen?
Harlan,
no, they're on par.
Harlan's a higher floor raiser.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Harlan's a higher floor raiser. Yeah.
Harlan just has like more diversity to his game.
Yo, this is like a SGA versus Jokic, man.
Like I think Harlan's more versatile than Breen.
Yeah, I mean this.
Well, he's definitely more hyped than Breen is.
Yeah, that's the thing. But like, but the other thing too is like Breen, like he will have his like select things to go to, where Harlan might just pull up some new shit out of nowhere.
Because Harlan's call on the Kawhi shot was great.
Game series.
Yeah, that was, and just like you mentioned, Jerome, just his energy. Like the energy gets you so hyped. Man.
Sure.
I think that's what makes a friend of the program, Matt Devlin, so great too. Because you can feel that energy, and like especially in games when the Raps are like coming back. I mean, he always says they're right there.
Hey, they're right there.
But when they actually finally push through, like you really feel it because he's always building up to it. So.
Absolutely.
Sure. Wow, did we just
Matt Devlin
decide
just
Mike
constantly
Breen...
edging you, man? It's crazy.
Did we just decide that Mike Breen's overrated?
No. He is not overrated at all.
We didn't say that at all. No.
Mike Breen is amazing. Again, he's literally Jokic, man.
You can't say Mike Breen's overrated by saying that you prefer Kevin Harlan doesn't say anything negative whatsoever about Mike Breen.
What's Mike Breen's apex mountain? I'm guessing is when he called the Steph bang against OKC.
Double bang for Steph.
Yeah.
Ray Allen got a bang.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's not fair though, because he gets the finals. Like he does get the biggest moments because ABC's had the finals for like ever.
But like the Steph double bang wasn't even a finals.
Yeah, that was just random.
That was just regular season. Although that regular season was crazy. Like every Warriors game was must watch.
Right.
Yeah. And they had a great big comeback in that one too, man. Caleb says announcer big pie or blame pie. Sorry.
That's
announcer
hilarious.
blame pie. What would announcer blame pie even mean?
Actually, ESPN broadcast blame pie would actually hit like crazy, man.
Oh, I mean that's just us dragging predictions.
Not tonight, guys.
Not tonight.
Next up here, do we care, Will? Adam Silver under a lot of pressure to bring back the NBA trophy decal.
My God, man.
And tonight, they did two cute little trophies there, digitally, put into the court. And then I guess Adam Silver heard the bullying that was happening on Blue Sky, and changed it midway into just finals, back to this like finals scripted finals font, and they got rid of the two little trophies. This might be Adam Silver's worst work yet, man.
Okay, so I think a general complaint. Let's actually leave the photo up there as we discuss this, because I think we should just keep this monstrosity up there. Okay, so I think overall the NBA might be the most online and most responsive league, right? Because like this year you saw this kind of conversation about like maybe, Doris shouldn't be calling SGA a free throw merchant on air. And then you get Rick Carlisle before the series starts being like, hey, Doris Burke's great. No one didn't say Doris Burke's not great. She is great. She's an all-time legend. She's a trailblazer. Everything's great. But like, that's not something you should say about the MVP. You see that Mike Breen's like, well, I didn't get the call for a double bang, so he's like, here's a sympathy bang for you, Tyrese Halliburton.
So good. He got bullied into a bang.
And this is the league being like, hey, oh yeah, I guess everyone wants like the NBA Finals decoration on the floor. That's been taken away, which has been an online conversation. Like no one in real life has said like, hey man, like, you know what I mean? Two guys grilling some hot dogs on a Sunday afternoon, being like, hey, you gonna watch the finals later? And they're like, yo, no, man, I don't like how they took the finals decal off the floor. Like, no one even cares about that outside of online. But that conversation gets now transported into this, and like, you know what? Fine. If you want to put the thing back on the floor and rectify your mistakes, go ahead. You cannot do it like this though, because like this is not this is not like altered in any way. It looks like absolute shit the way they put the NBA trophy on the floor. The fact that the Paycom Center is taking up everywhere from the half-court line to the three-point line, and this NBA trophy looks like one of those random Sonic rings that you got to collect in Sonic the Hedgehog. It's just disgusting. Like, it's actually such an insult that, honestly, like, if you want to insult the scale of the finals even more, this has to be it. You compare this to like what they show in in-season tournament, for example, where the whole court is gift wrapped and it looks entirely different. They put the trophy on the floor for that one versus this rinky-dink piece of shit that's on the floor. Like it's embarrassing, man. It's actually embarrassing. I actually was distracted from watching the game because of how embarrassing this thing looked.
Well, I think it's even worse for them to go ahead and pull this, because it just shows like the disregard for the actual original complaint. Like, you can't just go and half-ass two cute little tiny Larry O'B's on there, man.
Yo, what are there two?
No, like, take your time. Like, I don't know how these things work, man. I'm sure the Pacers court is already locked in, but like, if you're gonna take your time, maybe try to get that giant trophy up at center court, Indiana, in Game 3 or something like that, or just wait till next year and do it properly. But for them to just half-ass and throw this in there and be like, okay, people are going to start complaining. Like, damn, that's like, that's like very disconnected and out of touch in their own way as well.
Jerome, from a production standpoint, like, would you be okay with this?
No, this is ugly.
Exactly.
It looks like two awkward gold nipples.
Yo, it looks like there's too many men on the ice for the Pacers, man.
I also just came on because we were talking about this so much, and this is always also floated around for people online. Shout out to our boy CJ Toledano, who's been selling these "Put the Larry O'Brien Trophy Back on the Finals Court" hat. I think they're being sold at followthrough.shop before his Follow Through Studios. I think our friends at No Dunks all got a hat.
I saw Skeets got. Yeah, I saw Skeets.
Alex, how are you feeling about not getting a hat?
Oh man, I'm trying to downsize lately. So shouts to CJ.
There you go.
Everybody go and support CJ.
Zag.
That's right.
But yeah, no. That's an eyesore. I didn't even know that was going on. And because, like I mentioned to you guys, I fell asleep during the first quarter, and then the game was already over. But yeah, it's pretty funny to see something like this. I do see maybe the machinations that like could happen with an organization or a broadcast that would think, oh, we need to fix this ASAP, rather than, like you guys have suggested, just sit back. Like if this was really a problem, and this is also a thing like to pull from our own experience of having to deal with a hot mic incident, like just let it sit for a second and just see where it goes from there. Like take a breath, go touch some grass. If it's really a big deal by the time you reach the end of these finals, and that's the dominant narrative that the problem was the court didn't have the thing, then go back and add it next season.
And
that was a hell of a zag from Jerome because I wasn't expecting that connection.
I blame this back on.
It's a product of like what you said. It's about being too online and being too stuck in it.
This is too online, man.
Yeah.
No, I blame this back on Silver. You do this stretched out NBA off day schedule during the finals for all the reasons that you do it, and these are the conversations that are going to take place. Like there's not enough space when you do 2 off days between almost every game, especially when like a game like tonight was just pure trash. Like there's not a lot
What is
of
Richard Jefferson's joke in Game 3 about the Larry O'B's on the court that he makes?
No, like there's just too much time.
Never
between
laughed at
games.
one Richard Jefferson joke, man.
Just God, man. Yeah, Richard Jefferson is like he's like Ryan Reynolds to me. I don't think he has people around him to tell him he's not funny.
He does have Ryan Reynolds energy.
Yeah,
yes.
because Ryan Reynolds has heavy. Ryan Reynolds has heavy. Like no one's ever told him he's not funny.
I think there's some moments online, like where he's maybe like clapped back at a fan, and it's been a bit entertaining.
Richard Jefferson seems like he'd be great on a podcast, but when you put him on the live,
he had a podcast, like the road tripping. I think
road
it was
tripping's
called?
not bad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's totally not bad. I actually think RJ, has some like actual like personality. It just doesn't come through on a broadcast.
I
And
think what
the
we're
most
facing
important
here
one.
with like what might be going on is just this actually might just be a chemistry issue that individually they might be okay, but trying to put it together is not working.
I guess ever since they got rid of like, and I know people got like tired of hearing like, Jeff Van Gundy like bicker and suggest like rule changes every single game he called, or like Mark Jackson. Actually, I don't even think there should be that many complaints about Mark Jackson on the broadcast. Like,
I reject all this nostalgia for Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. We all know they were not loved.
Okay, but they had moments though.
They definitely had moments.
No, but they just I think like they
and
just
I hit it out the park with all due respect. That's a moment, man.
This is you can't speak on it because you're kind of low key like a Mark Jackson stan.
You are definitely a Mark Jackson stan.
You're a Mark Jackson stan, but like, I mean, this is the quickest wave of nostalgia. Me?
This should be against the law, son.
Like, that's not a moment.
Bars, man.
This is the quickest wave of nostalgia I've seen. Like, they've been out the booth for like 2 years, and everybody's like, "Yo, remember those days?"
What did they replace them with though? Because the JJ Redick and Doris Burke one was awkward. Remember we were talking about it on the show last year? I remember.
Oh, JJ and Doris was just not.
JJ just refused to talk to Doris. Doris would bring a point up, and JJ would just say nothing.
This is also
we heard stonewalling on a podcast on a broadcast. Which
Stonewall
is
Steve Austin, man. This is the thing.
Wow.
Well
this
done.
is the thing when guys are in the broadcast booth and they're still trying to get jobs. Like Bob Myers is not sharing anything that's interesting at all. Like he's not saying anything. And same thing with JJ. Like obviously angled into the Lakers job. Like we need someone in the booth that will actually just be chill and not have to feel like he can't say 13 different things on every broadcast. And I don't know who that guy is.
It is difficult because I feel like as with all things in front of like a broadcast of any scale, right? There's a fine line where you're trying to be as accurate to the moment as possible without trying too hard. And I think that there always is an incentive to be trying too hard. In the ESPN broadcast right now, I see them trying too hard as in like, let's respond to every online interaction. So like, oh, we should put the trophy back on the court. I guess we'll put these two little things. Oh, Mike Breen should have said bang for hell. I didn't even see that. You know what I mean? Like that was no one who'd even tweeted that. But then he's like, all right, well, here's a sympathy bang. Like it's too much, man. I mean, I guess it's not that hard to just like look. Let's talk about the game. Let's focus on let's highlight some of the things that maybe the viewer isn't necessarily watching or appreciating as much. Let's try to put as much excitement into these big moments as possible. And then if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Don't force it.
It's too in the social media era too, and I think like this being such a relationship driven business, like the basketball space being so small too. Like every major criticism that you see is just gonna get clipped out. and people are gonna see it too. And like announcers didn't have to deal with that back in the day. Like you can actually be critical, and like if the player hears it, it comes from broadcast. But now it's like if you step out, you do seem like kind of the sore thumb, and you're the one person who's like being a big hater. Because you know how people react to now whenever players get criticized, because you have these such like player-driven fan bases too, right?
Oh, they'll come after you.
And everything becomes like, everything gets like misconstrued into being like personal now.
Yes.
Or like why are you hating on this person? So I think it's like a combination of all of those things that ends up producing a Doris Burke, Richard Jefferson, Mike Breen experience. Yeah.
I think what you're also tapping into, Will, with the like self-awareness or whatever that they're showing that they respond to constantly, that is just the urge to respond in like situations where it's in whole ass like NBA finals is like, why are you centering yourself when there's like basketball played on the court?
It's the most consequential basketball is being played. I think the other thing too is just like you see like I guess it was like in the NFL, right? Tony Romo does like the telestrations, and now it's like the hottest thing. Everyone's got to look for the next Tony Romo.
Oh, right,
doing that kind of stuff. Then it was like, okay, the Manning cast became really popular. Now it's all about finding like the best like B cast, like not just like the one that's on cable, but the one that you can stream and watch through your app. And it's just like, man, like it just everyone's always just trying shit, and like their base actual ideas are getting worse, which should not be the case. Like you should have like a very strong, like standard product, and then maybe try a couple of more fringe items. You know what I mean? But whatever. This is wow. I guess game 2 really was boring. I guess
well,
tell you, man. This whole conversation is Adam Silver's fault.
Yeah, I mean, what might also be Adam Silver's fault is Alex's next point on the 6-pack.
Let's go.
Next one.
Finals viewership.
Next one. Do you care? Game 1 of the finals only drew in 8.91 million viewers, making it the least watched game 1 in the finals since 1988. My question to you is, when did we start this rating stuff? Because like I've never cared about this. Yeah. But when did this whole thing start where like every year, if a small market team is on the way to the finals, the conversation just becomes, enjoy watching Indiana and OKC with 15 other people across America. Like, I don't get how ratings became just like a talking point amongst fans. Like, why do you care what the Nelson ratings are?
Well, it's funny because I think the question of what do fans care about, or maybe what should fans care about, has only expanded with no restriction. You know, I think back in like if you think 20 years ago, you as a fan, you cared about the game, you cared about who played well, you cared about like, you know, the All-Star game, you cared about who had the coolest like shoes and highlights, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like it was a simpler time. I think you go back 10 years ago, you started caring about, okay, which teams made good trades or not. You know, which owners were good owners or not. Which you know, is your team playing optimal strategy? You know, because everyone's starting to shoot a lot of threes now. Is your team starting to like, you know, are they ahead of the curve or behind the curve? You started caring about more of like the drama within the players. I guess people always cared about player drama, but like there's more and more avenues for that to leak out now. More people with microphones, more players with social media, you know, like more reporters getting close to the scene and then reporting out little bits and details. People started caring about that. You look at 2025 now, your average fan is like, I'm going to watch, if you're a Raptor fan, I bet a lot of Raptor fans right now have been like, I'm going to watch some Derek Queen like highlights on YouTube. I'm going to watch some Kama Malawaj highlights on YouTube. Carter Bryant, I've heard his name a lot more. Let me watch some highlights on YouTube. Like, they care about that. They care about the trade rumors that come in and out. They care about the cap machinations. They care about, you know, the contracts of GMs. They care about everything to the point where they care about like even just the health of the league. To be honest, the only people that should be caring about the health of the league are the NBA front office people, like Adam Silver and his staff. Like, it shouldn't matter to anyone else. And to be honest, if it's something where it's like you will only follow something if it's popular and you know it to be popular, then like that's stupid. That's like listening only to the radio for music.
Yo, come on, man. That's a personal attack, man.
That's not what you do, man. I know you're a 90s hip-hop head.
That Chainsmokers song they were playing at Due West Fest.
What?
Yeah, no, I think this ratings thing, I'm just like, I need to get to the bottom of when this started becoming a thing that like fans would just like weaponize. You know what I mean? Like this is just such a conversation now, and it like kind of creates like two factions that are both equally annoying. Like the first faction are the people that are just like always making fun of like small market matchups, and then there's another faction that grows from that of like, oh man, if you don't enjoy Pacers Thunder,
you don't like NBA basketball.
I feel sorry for you.
Right.
Like,
this is
like,
real hoops,
and I'm
man.
like, both of you just shut up. So anyways, just wanted to use that as a way to just tell everyone to shut up. Yeah, that's really the point of that one. Okay. Late night.
I also think we discussed everything in more details now, man.
I just can't wrap my head around this ratings thing. I'm like, do people actually care about this? Like, who cares? Like, why should anyone like us like care if the Pacers and Thunder got 10 million or 20 million viewers?
Also, it's not a surprise, man. You can see this coming from a mile away, man. Like,
this is not a casual fan matchup.
These are two of the smallest fan bases.
Yeah, and it's not a casual fan matchup. It just isn't. Like it is what it is. Another rant I wanted to go.
Also,
on.
we're talking about ratings, man. You know how many people watching on legal streams, man? Come on.
That honestly, that's like a very
like
non-spoken thing about it too, right? Like it doesn't account for all these people that are on the stream. So
there's just a lot that's probably shifting in how people consume, and especially younger generations.
Yeah, young people don't even sit. Young people do not sit in and watch a whole game. That's just not a thing. That's common.
There was I was walking, just like on a walk downtown, and you know, like there are various people who will ask to stop you to ask for like donations for any particular causes. Oh, okay. So we actually I was with friend of the show, Kiana, and we were stopped just on Bloor out in Koreatown, and honestly, it was like very friendly young gentlemen. I think they were like in university. They mentioned they were like going to York, but they were there in trying to find support for Cam H, which absolutely Cam H should get support. Yeah, but it was so funny. He was like a very charming young man, and he was trying to just like engage in conversation, ask what I did, and I was like, "Oh, I work in sports." It's like, "Oh, that's so cool, man." And it's like, what do you do? I'm like, I produce a podcast. I'm like, "Oh man, like, yo, let me know what the podcast is." And then I was just so curious, so I just asked, like, do you listen to basketball podcasts? He's like, nah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he's hustling for money, but he's
hustling absolutely for money. Yeah. But he was like very honest about it. But it was like one of those things. But all of it to say is just like, just enjoy what you're doing. Like, there's a lot of good coverage out there. You don't have to watch everything. You don't have to worry about who is or isn't watching it.
Just like what you like, man. If you like Pacers Thunder, then just like Pacers Thunder, man.
Alex, do you want to throw in another shut up?
Oh yeah. So another complaint that I have. So I saw this report. I think from Gary Wolfond, Joe Wolfond, out in Milwaukee.
Oh, brother.
He was saying the Knicks are, if Giannis is available, the Knicks are ready to make a tsunami type offer.
What does that even mean?
To acquire Giannis
Bronson Reed
from the Bucks. So, I don't want to get, you guys know I'm a really woke person. Like, I think we should stop using natural disasters in this age to describe trade offers.
You rounded back to the first item of the six-pack to make this joke.
Right. Because like, what's next? Like, Sacramento is about to blow the Lakers away with an avalanche of an offer. Or like, hearing from sources that Houston's about to hit Phoenix with a blizzard of a deal. When are we? No, but when are we gonna stop? Like the Knicks, what the Knicks are gonna flood the market with Karl Anthony Towns offers? Like, there's been an earthquake in Memphis. Like, Ja Morant has been made available. Like, guys,
I mean, there have been natural disasters in Oklahoma City that
oh my God, like Atlanta with a wildfire of an offer for Giannis. Like, guys, we gotta stop this. Look at the world. Look at everything that's happening around us. We can't be using natural disasters to describe trade offers. Yeah.
Alex, you just came at us with a hurricane of complaints.
Anyways, this has been on my mind. This has been on my mind the whole day, man.
Really, man?
Yeah, man.
What about like tectonic shifting or something?
No, yeah, like what's next, man? Volcanic eruption in Charlotte. LaMelo Ball's on the move. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here, man? Yeah. Anyways.
I'm actually perfectly fine. I just think a tsunami's level offer is so funny of a
No,
phrase.
it just really bothered me.
It's just a funny use of the English language. Like I can't conceptualize what necessarily he means. But like,
well, I mean, the Bucks are currently going through a hailstorm of calls.
oh my
God.
God.
No,
No,
I
way.
can't, man. We got to stop this. Like, guys.
By the way, what is that? What is that Nick tsunami offer anyway, man?
I don't know, man. Cat twice? Yeah.
Meow meow.
I don't even know, man.
Why don't we talk about Wemby being a monk now?
Yeah, you gotta take this
Oh,
over. The most
Asian-
boring superstar. Yeah,
Asian Heritage Month.
Where's
It's
he?
come
Where
and
was he?
gone.
At Zhang Chao or something?
That's just Jeremy's name, man.
Zhang Zhao? Yeah. Zhang Zhao?
Wang Juju.
I actually don't
Juju?
know where he was, but this picture went viral today on NBA Twitter.
That's me and Ennis after we listened to Old Dirty Bastard.
Oh man. A new
Yeah,
member
so
of the Wu-Tang Clan has just dropped.
So describe this for the audio files.
There's actually you owe it to yourself to find this photo of Wemby who has shaved his head to look like a Shaolin monk. He is sitting in like a traditional centuries old temple. He's on this the classic Chinese wooden furniture that's like really hand carved. I don't even know what to describe. I guess there's like various Buddha figures behind him. There's like a giant column, the bright red giant columns. He's just in some sort of temple, in somewhere in China, and when Wemby is decked out not only with the bald head to fit with the Shaolin theme, but also he has head to toe like a robe
Garb.
on. Yeah, garb. Yeah, he's
he's
acquired
in some
garb.
clothing, as you would mention at Do West.
He has gone to Do West Fest, and but, I mean he's I don't know. He kind of weirdly enough he kind of fits in. I don't know. Like
Okay,
I'm a little.
Alex.
It's a little
So
strange
he
for me,
did.
man.
He did go.
Alex,
and
I do have a question for you after this.
He didn't go. He went and shaved his head there. Like,
I think that's part of like.
and now he's in this like whole like outfit, and he's like
Right.
hanging out with them.
Well, because you know how NBA players like they a lot. I mean, obviously, like there's a gigantic fan base for the NBA in China, and so a lot of star players go to China every summer. And I think Wemby, even though he's very young in his career, he's going to be doing this for most of his life. As an NBA fan, just a prominent NBA player. The thing is, like, there's always some level of like culture clash. You know what I mean? Like, it's like. Usually it's like, oh, Draymond tries stinky tofu. Let's see how it goes. Like. But when Wemby is like so pure and wholehearted right now, he's like, I just want to try everything, and so he's like, yes, I will just try being a monk. And I don't know, man. This is kind of great. Like I really admire Wemby's like zest for life right now. He's
Okay.
just, like, he's willing to do
So
anything.
we're messing with this. Yeah, like we
100%
like this
I'm
journey.
messing with
We
this.
like this journey that he's on right now. Yeah.
I think he was like he like got to learn about like I guess like the Shaolin like.
So there's an
temple
actual
and
story
the whole
behind this, and
culture.
like people have like written like about what's going on. He's been
Okay.
talked to about it, or is
Sure.
that like what you're saying, or?
Well, no, I just mean that like he must have been so inspired because like
Okay.
can any like for example would anything convince you guys to shave your heads?
I mean, I buzz my hair.
I feel like
like,
you're
shave
talking to
fully
the
bald?
wrong two people about things they would do with their hair.
No, but like,
like, just do
shave
anything.
your head like a zero.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be
I
open
would-
to that.
I would do
Yeah.
it for easy charity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
anything,
Okay,
yeah.
here's my question
Okay.
to Alex. As someone who has gotten really deep into WWE and wrestling in general, and understand the nature of being marking out or being worked with an angle online,
Yeah.
what if this is just like some Nike campaign?
You know what?
Ooh.
I wouldn't even put it past. I think that's
remember, like, he was, like,
actually
shooting a
I think that's
commercial?
actually a good call. But I don't even know. Like, is this Nike's like
Like some sort of
long-term
Zen thing because
storytelling
he-
that's happening here? Like,
It could be. I mean, for all I know, like because it's Wemby, like the chess in the park, all that, like
Yeah.
it could be really just him exploring his various interests. That's completely fair. But at this point, I would never write off a thing like that, especially when it seems like such an extreme thing. Like remember the Kawhi Leonard? People were leaking it like he was taking karate and it was just a commercial.
yeah, that's right.
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
but that one was like he was clearly
But that
joking because he was like, "I'm about to chop y'all up."
Of
and then-
course, of course. Yeah.
Yo, that one kept coming out during the conference finals against the Bucks.
It'll be like quote retweet Kawhi dunks on Giannis.
Oh, that was.
I'm about to chop y'all up.
Yeah,
Good times.
but it's like one of those things.
But I think you have
like,
a point. I think you have a point, Jerome. I'm willing to buy into this like potential like conspiracy.
I'm
like
gonna lean in on just like a conspiracy just for fun for now. A little zag.
Yeah, no, I like that.
By the way, so I'm looking into this more because, like, admittedly, like I'm I don't know that much about Shaolin monks and like, the culture and everything like that. Like when you said he's in Jingzhou, I was like, I don't actually know where that is. Like, there's like millions of cities in China, literally. But I'm looking into it now. Like, so first off, like, when these NBA players go to China, they typically go to like one of three places. They go to Beijing, they go to Shanghai, and then they go to like Hong Kong / Guangzhou / like the Shenzhen, like the south area, right? Like those are the three places that they go within mainland China, and then like we'll see like where else they end up going. Yeah. But like Zhengzhou is not really close to any of those. Like it's like kind of in the middle of the country. Like it's not coastal. It's in Henan province, which do you guys know Henan province? I mean, it's like fairly prominent, but like yeah, but like it's not one of the major cities. Like he had to. My point is, he had to go out of his way to sort of do this.
There. Yeah.
And I do think that he was really inspired because I think Wemby just strikes me as like a really like curious guy. Like he really, you know what I mean? Like that's someone said they taught there for a year. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you might have to teach me about Jingzhou because even I don't really know about this place, man.
Speaking about Chinese heritage, while you guys were talking about it, I went and did some research and.
Me, bro. I'm low-key Chinese. I'm like 2%.
There it is.
So this is where the quote of Pascal comes from.
This is where the quote comes from. It's one of his like vlog videos where I guess I don't know what the full video is. It's like a 5-minute video, but you can find it on his Instagram. But that's where that quote comes from. And then I think when we see it online, it's just someone making like a joke.
He was literally with a friend of the program, I think this was like in Sacramento. They were just
it was in Sacramento, that's
and he was using like chopsticks and stuff like that.
And by using the chopsticks, he was just saying, "I'm low key Chinese. I'm 2%."
Yeah.
Yo, salute, man.
Shouts to Darius Garland too.
Yeah.
So.
Shouts to his Filipino friend.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah, Wemby. Interesting cat.
Okay. Why don't Alex? Let's explore this.
I'm being a hater.
What don't you feel about what is about Wemby that you're not wholly feeling?
This just goes back to
can I take a stab at it?
Yeah.
Just in knowing Alex, anything that starts approaching a point where it feels like they're making it a personality of theirs.
Yes,
Alex
exactly.
will be turned off by
Just go play chess, man. Why are you calling everybody else?
It doesn't need to be a thing. But that's also he's such a public figure in this case, so it's not that Wemby's necessarily calling attention.
Peace, like behind the scenes. Like,
sure, and I'm sure he's not. Yeah. This photo just I guess kind of came out type, right? Or he's like sharing it. So I'm sure he's not going out of his way to kind of share this.
Don't pull out your cameras in the temple, man. Like let's be a little respectful, guys.
Ooh, there you go.
I'm serious, man. I kind of
like that.
this, man.
I like that. No, I don't know, man. I'm just a big hater. Like I'm
Daniel
a very...
says he hates that Wemby reads.
Yo, good point.
Wow.
I just I don't know, man. I just don't.
But I think it's that.
I don't find this generation of stars to be interesting at all. It's fine. They can be great basketball players. I love watching Wemby on the court. I could care less.
Wait, is there any young star that you're like, I kind of like this guy? Like, I
even
fuck
like
with, like what he's doing.
I feel like Ant is probably like consensus. Everybody thinks. I guess he's got like the best personality. I don't find any of these guys. I just think we don't get to see them. Or we don't get to learn about them in the same way that we used to. I
think it's just going to be hard for you to ever get into it now just because everything feels so like curated and manufactured.
Exactly.
Even if it is their actual personality.
And sometimes it's not even like, I don't think it's even Wemby's fault, you know?
No.
It's like, you don't get to live in this generation as an NBA star and just be like, I'm going to go play chess in New York for it not to be turned into a social thing.
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't happen.
There's just not going to be a player at this point that will get to have like a last dance because there's all the information.
There's no mystique, exactly.
I didn't know what Jordan and then was up to every day.
Yeah.
And then you would hear stories.
Betting and golfing, man.
No, but then you'd hear the big stories of like, oh shoot, like this man went to Atlantic City before he played the Knicks, like in the conference finals, and I'm like, oh, that's the coolest thing that anyone has ever done. But it's like you're getting these stories, bits and pieces. You're getting to hear his thoughts on things. Like, I think if LeBron was from a different era, like he'd probably have more mystique. Like LeBron's probably one of the most.
He's the first that shifted in the other direction.
He's one of the most overexposed guys.
Yeah.
Like I remember when they announced last year that
sure.
he was going to be on Starting Five on Netflix, and the joke was just, oh wow, like I can't wait to learn about LeBron, as if like we haven't. No, but it's like as if we haven't followed every step of him.
Absolutely.
Since like 2003 or before, right? So I guess it's not really an individual. Yeah, like it's not an individual player thing. I think it's just an era specific. The way that
I think it's hard for you to like parse how things would be like taken in today because it's so much like that.
But for this exact point of like how everything is so overexposed, like they're like, and everyone has to be on all the time. You're right. There's no like Michael Jordan can just relax on the golf course and talk shit, or like Michael Jordan can relax and be in the casino and play blackjack until like 5 a.m. and nobody outside of the people in that casino who played on that table would know, and there's no photographs or anything like that. Like you live in this area where everyone's on all the time. You're just a public entity, so if you get photographed out, like if you're Wemby and you've been really inspired and you want to shave your head and you know become a monk, like those things just get shared instantly, and now halfway around the world we're talking about it. And that's for me why I find Wemby to be like really refreshing, because like he's just like he's not he's like he's totally okay with being himself. Like he's accepted that like he already is gonna stand out no matter what, just by virtue of his like his appearance and his size and even his just like very recognizable like proportions. And he's just like living life as he would, like just being curious, you know. He's like, all right, I want to play chess, like let's go. I've seen people play chess in the park, I want to play those like hustlers in the park in New York City, like, and he just goes and does it. And now he's like, okay, I probably have learned about, you know, Shaolin monks somehow through like popular media, and now I want to go there physically to like see what's actually happening there. And now he's like buying into it. It's just like, I admire that, you know, and I hope for, especially for a lot of people who are like younger, maybe this is like, I guess people are genuinely more curious when they're younger. I just hope he doesn't lose this, you know what I mean? Like I think that like being yourself is like very refreshing in this day and age. And like whatever, being yourself could be like you're a nerd or whatever. Like that's okay. Wemby kind of does come across a little nerdy to me.
Absolutely.
And I love that about him, because he's just willing to do that rather than hiding and being Tatum or whatever. Yeah. No, like Tatum is just like, it just there's just something about Tatum. I'm like, like I can't.
I just love that Tatum just catches a stray for no reason.
No, it's just
Tatum. I mean, Tatum just seems very uncomfortable being like a public figure and always has to like
right,
just imitate. Yeah.
Well, like you said, because of his height, it's not like Victor Wembanyama ever had a choice in this.
Yeah, no. Wemby does seem like mature beyond his years and all this stuff. So. Yeah. I mean, I was also fed this about Jaylen Brown being too smart for the NBA for 5 years, so I'm just being a little skeptical.
The Jaylen Brown one is a different conversation. I'll say that much.
Saying.
There was a lot of like, he's giving speeches and he's teaching lectures in Harvard at 21, and I'm like, if he wasn't an NBA player, would they let him do that? Like,
yeah. I just feel like a lot of us are still just like kind of parsing through like this whole era where we're just being fed a lot of just like propaganda, man. Like it's a lot of player-driven propaganda. I know we joke about like state-sponsored media, but like, it gets to places like that, right? So
I mean, even here in Toronto, like locally, like you know, as much as like that like Scotty Barnes like rollerblading around like nighttime in Florida with like Jonathan Mobley driving around in a car filming him, I'm just like, bro, I'm happy he's being, you know, like just himself and like being a kid, like having fun. Like he's 24 years old. Like that's some shit I would have done.
I'm like, man, please be careful.
Makes me more relatable. Yeah. I do think please be careful for sure. But again, I also scoot around the city like with no helmet. So like,
I guess
was it Andrew Bynum that had the scooter injury?
Monte Ellis like.
Monte Ellis had one. Andrew Bynum had a different.
The OG Vladimir Radmanovich had a snowboarding accident.
Right. That's right.
I guess no one cared that his contract got voided.
They're like, all right.
Yeah.
He's a good shooter, though, man.
Yeah, he was a problem from the corner.
Radmanovich was a problem. Elite name, too, by the way.
Radmanovich or Howard?
Oh my god.
Yo, those small forwards from back in the day.
Oh man.
I miss when small forwards couldn't really dribble. By the way, I kind of liked power small forwards. You don't get those no more.
Josh Howard Mavs jersey would be super clean.
That would be the kind of jersey I get next with the collection I've been putting together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and as we head to Game 3, right now I'm Betway. So the Finals MVP conversation is really heating up.
Oh,
and if you are excited for Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers to somehow pull off a little miracle here in this series, he's right now 4.25 odd to win MVP.
Odds, man.
Of course, Shai is still the favorite, followed by Jalen Williams, who has moved up now, and Tyrese and Pascal. I mean, Halliburton didn't have a great game tonight. What do you think moving forward if the Pacers do? Let's hypothetical if they do win the series. Do you like Halliburton or Pascal better in the Finals MVP betting?
I think it's difficult because OKC has put more defensive attention towards stopping Tyrese at every step versus stopping Pascal at every step. So I think that what could happen is a situation kind of like last year with the Celtics where Jaylen Brown didn't receive as much defensive attention as Jason Tatum, and therefore Jaylen Brown could sometimes look better than Tatum because he's playing against less defensive attention. Having said that, though, I think with the Eastern Conference MVP already going to Pascal, I feel like if Indiana wins it, they will find a way and they will give it to Tyrese. And I think, honestly, for Indiana to actually come back and have it, well, not come back, but to take the next 3 wins, they need Halliburton to solve OKC's defense to some degree because, as me and Wolfond discussed right now, outside of the game winner, which is a huge if, but outside of that, he hasn't really been that impactful in the finals so far through 2 games. So he's really got to figure it out. And if he does figure it out, it's a great storyline to give him the Finals MVP.
Right. Yeah. So make sure you check out the QR code below and hit up Betway for all your sports betting needs.
Which now brings us to the Tangerine Fan Inbox. Tangerine is the official bank of the Toronto Raptors, foundational partner of WNBA Canada and NBA Canada. And, of course, they're not just fans of basketball. They're fans of basketball. They're fans of fans who love an IRL Larry O'Brien decal on the finals court. If you're hearing this, there's no doubting your commitment. Fans like you are at the heart of what makes this game great. So while Victor Wembanyama seeks enlightenment, Tangerine is turning the spotlight from the court to the stands and celebrating the way Raptors fans support their team because this is how we fan. To learn more, visit tangerine.ca/basketball. Just a handful of comments today. Okay. Starting off here, did anyone else feel like the Pacers could come back when they were down 18 with 130 left?
Yeah, this was when I guess they had already pulled their starter guys. I was actually yelling at the TV for Carlisle to start fouling. Yeah. Just
Reggie Miller.
Hey, Kev, man. 7 minutes left here. You think you should start foul game?
You're soon going to be able to do a Reggie Miller Doc Rivers back and forth.
Oh, you know what? That'd be kind of sick.
That'd be kind of fire.
At no point did I feel like a comeback was happening tonight, to be honest.
No.
Not to bring the conversation back to ESPN, but I did feel like for the majority of Game 1, every conversation was, wow, look how good OKC's defense is, until the end where it's like, wait, hold on, what? Indiana won. And then all the conversation in Game 2 was, they can come back. It's a 48-minute effort. They can come back. And then they never came back.
Just call the game.
Just call the game. They're always in live time trying to predict what everyone's talking about on Twitter, man. Just enough. You can't.
But I mean, back to this question because
people on Twitter
also
just
turned it into a commentary
for these guys. That's it. And talk shit about people. You can't. Right. It's a lawless place, man.
But back to this question because you kind of did the thing you just complained about, Will, in terms of talking about something else.
Oh no, not really. To be honest, no, not really. I think Indiana. Well, first off, I think OKC was just able to score way better. Their half-court offense was so much better as compared to Game 1. I thought Chet established himself early, kind of disappeared as the game went on, but it didn't really matter. That's when they built the lead. Jalen Williams did enough scoring, although I still feel like his outside shot right now is a little iffy. But they just had a very free-flowing offense for most of the second half, and comebacks don't happen if you don't play defense. And Indiana just never played defense. Yeah, they were scoring, but they just never defended. So
I will say, just because of that one comeback, I am genuinely shocked anytime Aaron Nesmith misses a three-pointer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Up next.
He's definitely banged up, man. He doesn't look right at all to me. But
I guess just like with regard to how well he's been playing, but I hope we celebrate SGA the way we celebrated Steve Nash. I'm going to argue that we're already celebrating SGA more than we have celebrated Steve Nash.
No, I think SGA is getting celebrated properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's our Nelly Furtado mentioning is your game MVP like Steve Nash?
Who's our Nelly Furtado today?
Jesse Reyes, baby.
Then it will definitely. I mean, like, put it this way. I think
Jesse put SGA in a song, man.
I think SGA already has like more like wide appeal than Steve Nash might have had, especially like across generations.
Really?
Also,
Steve Nash never had a signature shoe.
That's the one. He has a signature shoe.
Yeah, but Steve Nash popped up when he was 30. There's no time to give him a signature shoe when he popped up at 30.
And I think that's exactly why it's the case. Like, I think SGA, for like the age he's at, obviously he's achieved a lot by this point. I don't think there's going to be remotely any worry that he won't hit, if not already has hit, like Steve Nash levels of celebration.
Yo, the OVO, head to toe with the SGAs, man. That's gonna be the outfit next.
And if anything, like you and I have talked about it, Will, like there is kind of an issue of let's not coordinate OKC this early. Like let's let them actually win the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. But like, I don't know. I feel like I'm misremembering this because I think in Canada, like Steve Nash was a huge deal, man. Like. Steve Nash was the people were wearing Phoenix Suns jerseys. They were wearing Dallas Mavericks Steve Nash 13 jerseys in the streets. I remember going to school and like kids were trying to do like Steve Nash moves, like I feel like on TV especially they were showing a lot of basketball coverage. I think
kids are definitely doing SGA stuff or trying to do SGA stuff like way more at this point. Like
and
I think the Nash thing too. Like the 7 seconds or less Suns were actually an iconic team.
Yeah,
and as much
they were actually a phenom, and they also like revolutionized.
As much as you want to, say that these Thunder are 81 and 19 now, like they don't have that cultural resonance.
Yeah,
that is fair.
So I think to all those ends, like Steve Nash was like the first, so obviously like got all that celebration. I just don't think we should remotely worry. Like SGA is getting more than his due, and like deservedly, and he'll get even more as he progresses.
I think part of it too is just like the Raptors got a lot better, so people don't necessarily just have to celebrate the best Canadian player, and also there's so many Canadian players to celebrate now.
Like with Steve Nash, I think it was more like he was literally all we had as Canadian fans.
Yeah, no, I remember like getting one of my birthday presents, like when I was like 19 or 20, was like getting tickets to go see Steve Nash and the Suns play against the Raptors, and like I was rooting for Steve Nash to cook my team, man. I'm like, yo. Get your Jack's ass out of there. The pick and roll, man. Go after Jared Bayless.
I gotta say that Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire pick and roll hits way different than I don't know what exactly 2-man game happens with the Thunder right now.
The Thunder there is no 2-man game.
Relevant. There's no what?
Yeah.
The SGA Isaiah Hardenstein pick and pop push shot.
Little flip to Caruso in the corner.
Bang!
Yeah.
Jesse Reyes needs to remake Promiscuous. Yeah. Is your game MVP like SGA? Doesn't it the same?
No, that's not it.
No. Someone gotta put. Has SGA been put in a rap song either, man? Come on, man.
Not yet. I don't think I've heard any. Yeah,
so Nick Batum there's Nick Batum.
No,
bars,
it's got to be some sort of song
bars?
about aura and aura farming, right? Like that's what the song would be.
Actually, I'm sure Drake has shouted out Shai, but I don't know.
Hold on.
I don't know. You would know. You're the OVO guy here.
We only know songs that might sort of say Alex Walton.
Oh, by the way, I searched in the phrase Drake shout out into Google, and the auto populate was Drake shout out to Asian girls like the lights dim sum.
Iconic
fantastic.
line. Iconic line, man. Yeah.
Asian Heritage Month is definitely over.
Love that one, man.
Oh, I guess Shai was in the Nokia music video. Oh, that's kind of cool.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and that wasn't Kawhi hostage into a video too.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
The Too Sexy?
Yeah. This is just in reference to what happened earlier. And also, lights were too bright, bro.
Oh, when your ESPN auto video started playing.
Yo, the thing is, I couldn't tell if that was like playing through our broadcast or if it was just playing locally in my headphones.
Right.
So I was like, I thought maybe Jerome had like an interview clip of Halliburton.
Oh,
up
that's
and just
fair.
It.
Like that.
So I
just
was
played
like,
as a
what?
sound clip.
But
yeah.
by the way, stop autoplay videos is just like the worst thing ever, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like it's like whoever invented that needs like the opposite. Like there needs to be anti-Nobel Peace Prizes.
Right.
And stop using natural disasters to describe trade requests, man.
All right.
Final one here. Adam Silver is not enjoying all the banter.
Well, I hope he's not listening to this because I'm sure he'll, bow down and like meet all our requests next time.
I think
they don't want Donaghy. He's fired.
There is something to be said about just like doing what you think is right and then like hoping other people will see the vision eventually because you believe in it so much.
Yeah.
Right.
And like
That's
how dictatorships happen.
As I put my ratty undershirt away.
Oh, yo.
Yeah, you got the live.
Great. That would be. Oh my God. Do we have a photo of you? Can we?
No,
wait,
don't.
no, we're not
Don't.
doing
No,
that,
no, no.
man.
Will, don't do it.
Okay.
Will,
Okay.
don't do it.
I
we're
only have
gonna
photos
close-
of Jeremy from that night.
There you
so.
go. We're not going to do that. The last thing we're going to do here, we do have one more fan shout out.
Oh hell yeah.
Close fan of the show right here.
On my way to game 2.
Michael Grange with my Will Lou impersonation as he headed into Game 2 in OKC.
It appears to be on a scooter. Is that
Yeah,
that's why we're
Well, it took me a while to figure out because I was just watching the video without the caption.
No.
No.
Shouts to Grange, but goodness, man. Like, I don't know how old Grange is, so let's just say 45-plus-year-old white people got the craziest humor. You can never figure it out.
No, let's play the video again because again, without the actual caption, you can't really like fully tell what's happening.
you
On
can
my way to
hear
game
it.
2.
You can sort of hear it, but like it makes no sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
When that video played, I thought he was gonna bust out a cigar or something. I thought he was trying to
I
impersonate you
was
smoking a
I was waiting
cigar.
for one of those. Yeah.
So for people listening, so Grange tagged me on the video. Shouts to Grange, bro. We genuinely love you,
We
Grange.
love you, Grange.
love you, Grange.
But like, I think when this happened, I was just like, wait, hold on. Like I was super confused. Like I had just gone back. It was raining. Due West Fest was still going on. I was coming home. Like I was trying to figure out like what am I gonna cook for dinner. Like because 15 minutes of ESPN halftime is like a perfect time to make an egg fried rice. I'll just say that much.
Stinky tofu again.
So I saw this video and I was like very confused, and then I guess I clicked out of it and I saw the scooter emoji and I'm like, oh okay, like Grange is on like a public like a Lime scooter, and his phone is attached to like there's like a strap for like where the phone is, and that's why the shot is shooting upwards.
That's
on,
right.
Like just like Grange's chest and bottom of his head.
I was analyzing this like the first 30 minutes of the first Saw movie, man. I was like, yo, what clue am I missing, man?
And like
Grange wants to play a game.
Grange, bro, I love you for this, but like, this it just took me a while to sort of get your message, but this is very good.
I feel he probably would have benefited from just like taking a photo of the scooter that he was about to take to the game. Like I think that's the move. Just like Will Lou tribute.
Yeah.
Or photo side by side. I guess we can teach him that he can post a video and a photo now
Grange,
at the same time.
you better step up for Game 3, man. If Adam Silver can put a mini Larry O'B on the court, you can take our advice and do it side by side.
Yo, by the way, the scooter thing is very funny because so for people who don't know, like I just like largely ride a scooter across the city. Like this is like my main mode of transport. And that includes when I go to cover Raptors practices. So like I live on the west side of the city anyway. So it's actually really convenient for me to just ride my scooter. And then there's a bike rack conveniently just outside of OVO. And so when I go, I lock up my scooter and then I go inside and, ask questions to players or whatever. One time I went to practice, and as I was locking up my scooter, I see the black Suburbans pull up, which is what Masai rolls around in. He has like a private driver and stuff. So I see Masai's like
lost touch with the public. Yeah.
a fleet of Suburbans pulled up, okay, and the president walks out, and me and Masai, we got like, I'm not gonna say like we're like tight or anything. We're
You
not.
guys have
like,
a rapport.
But we have
definitely
a rapport.
Yeah,
But
Michael
we have a
Rappaport,
rapport.
yeah,
Like you know,
Michael
if we
Rappaport.
see each other, we can talk. You know what I mean?
You,
Like,
you got to Masai lightly roasting you rapport.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I'm like, okay, so like and of course it's Masai, so you like want to, you know what I mean? Like you revere this guy. He's got like as much as another NBA president has aura, he has aura, you know? So like when you're in Masai's presence, like you want to just act up right. So this I think it was in like January, so it's like very cold. I had like 2 scarves on, one for my forehead, one for my face, right? But again, I'm just like I'm scooting and I'm locking the scooter up. Masai comes out of his like Suburban, like all suited up and everything, and he looks at me. He's like, "That's your ride?"
So he basically told you, asked you live like this.
Yes, if you live like, is that why you're wearing the OVO hoodie?
And then he's like, "All right." So Masai is like holding the door. He's like, he's like thinking that we're gonna walk into OVO together. I mean, like not
have to
together,
lock
but
it
you know
up,
what I mean.
don't
Like
you?
it's just regular courtesy. Like he's there first. He's opening the door, and I'm like fumbling with my lock and stuff. Like, and it just took a while. Like it literally took like 20 seconds. I don't know why I was fumbling with the lock.
Lights got too bright.
Anyway, a negative aura points for riding a scooter in Masai's presence, man. That's all I'm saying, basically. Yeah, Masai called me poor. He's like, this is the man who dares to critique. He's like, oh, you don't think I got enough for Pascal's return? You didn't get enough for a scooter? You didn't get enough for an Uber?
This is my brother-in-law when I first met him, and he saw my old Civic. He's like, you drive this?
I actually have a similar story with Masai. When I was working at MLSC, you know, like when you go for lunch, you might just like order ahead to go pick up.
Yeah, sure.
So I was using Ritual app.
Oh, shouts to Ritual.
This is
Super
not
clutch.
a sponsored ad. But I was using Ritual,
Could be.
and I think like a coworker, a colleague gave me a promo code to use, which I was like, oh yeah, absolutely, get a discount on this lunch. Kept on trying to apply it, wasn't working, and so I'm like, nah, I'm gonna call Ritual and see how to get this promo code working. So I'm on the phone in the elevator area, getting ready to like make the call, talking to them. I'm halfway through saying like I want to save money on lunch, and Masai walks up, and as I see him walk, like about to get in the same elevator as me, without any hesitation, I go, "It's fine," and I hung up.
See?
And I just went in the elevator and paid full price for my lunch. That's what happened.
Yo, Masai should not cause this much disruption.
You guys won't understand until you stand side by side.
If
with
it
Masai.
helps, like Masai does, Brendan Shanahan never did.
Yeah.
I
Oh, man.
don't respect Masai's aura.
All right.
All right, let's wrap it up soon.
What about Bobby's aura?
Oh yeah, thanks guys. We are sold out
Once again.
Officially.
for the whole Renfrew event on Saturday. So if you RSVP, we hope we'll see you there because you did get one of the golden tickets.
That's right.
To be able to be there. 2 to 4
Do we have the
PM.
graphic to show them what they're missing out on?
Let me go grab
what's
that while you
the
talk a little bit about that one.
Pardon, Jay. Will sold out the 3rd floor of whole Renfrew in a day.
It's on 3.
What song is that from? I gotta pull that up.
Isn't it Encore?
Is it?
No.
Pardon, Jay.
Oh, no. What more can I say? It's from Black Album, no?
Dirt off your shoulder. Dirt
Oh,
off your
yeah,
shoulder.
jeez.
it definitely
Okay,
is from Black
yeah.
Album, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I just gotta remember
Yeah.
which song it was.
There he is.
In
Bang.
conversation with Bobby Webster, 2 to 4 p.m. next Saturday. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, excited, man. Excited to see people there for real.
Definitely riding my scooter to Holt Renfrew for
Nice.
this conversation as well. But I'm excited, man. And of
Have
course,
we heard back from Holt Renfrew yet? Do we have our shopping spree set?
It was the weekend. It was the weekend.
weekend.
So,
It was the
yeah,
weekend.
takes-
It was Due West, They were at Due West.
We were all at 2 West.
Due West, man.
Paul Renfrew was
West.
at Due West. Due
Yeah.
less.
Do less and do West.
Due less.
Oh, they did best.
Come on, man. Oh, actually, a couple weekend shout-outs more than anything else.
Oh,
Sure.
please, man.
Please.
Number one,
love
big
it.
shouts to Bear Steak.
Bear
Oh,
steak.
yeah.
Arr, arr, arr. Yeah.
They're bears. They don't bark, man.
Bear steak with a collab with
Is
Scarborough
this supposed
legend.
to be a promo, Alex?
Great Fountain, food court staple in Scarborough. So we had a chance to check out their collab sandwich,
Do you guys have pictures of it? Can we put this up?
like a little pork belly situation.
It's somewhere.
First off, bear steak in general is like one of the best sandwiches in the city, bar none.
Yeah, and they've always been super supportive of us too. I remember when we had our launch party for Hello and Welcome.
They just gave us like hundreds of steaks.
Yeah, bear steak
sandwiches. Yeah.
And North of Brooklyn were the big food sponsors, and of course, shouts to Will for that North of Brooklyn hookup.
See, one time I delivered. Maybe not the yes sirs, but this one I delivered.
Wait, you're saying the yes sirs is off the table?
No, it's on the way, maybe.
All right, here's a.
Never mind.
For those who are listening, we're about to play a video of the guys taking a look at their sandwiches. So here comes the reveal.
Look at that sesame crust. So this is a special.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those. Look at
Elaine is directing you because Elaine wants a photo while I'm taking a video.
Right. Is this
Great
video
sandwich,
silent?
man.
There's just no audio in this?
I just took off the audio. We
Oh,
were
okay. Word, yeah. You don't need to hear what
But
we're
here
saying.
comes the reveal. Here's the side profile. Look at
Bang.
that action right there.
That
Look
was
at that
delicious,
crispy.
man.
They sold out of this, I think,
In half an
hour on Saturday and equal time.
We were lucky enough to
Sunday
get
as
the
well.
final two. Look how happy. Look at
Oh, yeah.
Look at Will.
they're just regular steak sandwich and pork sandwich are incredible.
Insane.
Yeah,
so-
Alex is a pork truther, right?
Yeah, the pork is really good, but you can't go wrong with the steak.
The steak is good. It's a
That's
classic.
that's iconic. Yeah.
Do they have a vegetarian option? I think they do, right?
I don't.
I've never
think
ordered
so.
it, but-
Maybe they've had some as a special, but I don't think they do.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it says bear steak, so I think
Yeah.
I think they made it clear
Yeah.
enough. Okay, shout out number 2. Big shouts to bear steak. That was great. Shout out number 2 to all the fine folks at Hongqing. Another legendary night, Friday night,
Oh,
yeah.
when we were
most
there.
def. Yeah.
Such a fun time.
Big shout out to a friend of the program, Jeremy Jang. We
Better known as Mainlander. Yeah.
Mainlander.
Original Mainlander.
Mainlander who got his permanent residency. Congrats to Mainlander, man.
Huge.
It's a
Yeah.
huge deal.
Yeah.
So proud
Shout
of
out
him.
his speech. What a
This is
great
basically
speech.
my son.
This
You
is
look at
really
him like your son.
your little brother. Yeah.
This is kinda, yeah. I've
Honestly,
adopted him.
it's real like fatherly. Yeah, it's more
I've
fatherly than it is like older
really
brother.
Yeah,
adopted
so
him.
you're
Yeah.
Ronald and he's George.
Yeah. And okay, all right, but
Anything to make this dynamic so weird.
no, it was just great. We ended up being there, until closing. Actually, yeah, we left when the owners left. Let's just say that much.
There you go.
And
Jeremy
you
had a-
were
Jeremy had a great
gracious
time.
enough to, go to Vintage We Trust, get Jeremy a beautiful Canada themed sports jacket.
Yeah, it's really
which,
nice.
Yo,
which
Loki,
fit-
I don't know. I don't even think I bought you guys these type of presents, man.
yeah, you don't even get us free shirts or free pizza, so it's
Oh,
fine.
no
but,
sirs.
yeah. Wish I was from China.
Well,
Whoa.
come on now. I think we're all brothers, man. Come on,
Yo,
man.
not this speech again. Not this speech again. Oh,
But just look how happy he is, man.
no, he was
sweet.
thrilled. Yeah, this will be
Man,
the only
adorable,
photo
bro.
we show of him. Yeah.
That's right, because everything else you got to find his Finsta for. But
No, but super happy. Jeremy's super talented in this sports game.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's been working closely with the Raptors, with Open Gym too, like towards the end of last season. So
Mm-hmm.
really excited to see kind of what else. Like his resume is already crazy, right?
I mean,
Like, we're
Jeremy's gonna be
talking-
with us over at Holt Renfrew this
Yeah, he'll be
Saturday.
at Whole Fruit, but we're talking Super Bowls, we're talking Champions League. Like he's already
yeah.
put a lot on that resume.
Yeah, speaking of the NBA Finals, man, this guy was in Tyrese Halliburton's house, like shooting a whole like special
That's right.
about Halliburton.
Yeah.
I kept on
So-
running into him during the Indiana All-Star because he was running around
Oh
shooting
shoot.
for
Yeah,
Tyrese.
damn,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. He was drunk this
Damn.
weekend. He was like, "I know where Halliburton live," and
Ooh,
I'm like, "Don't tell me, Jeremy, you wouldn't."
you got a part in Maine.
You got a part in Jay.
You got a part in Maine, man.
Gucci Mane Lander.
Damn.
And then third shout out to like everybody who like we ran into on this weekend, man. I know
Yeah.
we were out in Do West Fest.
Yeah. Shouts to Joel and
Saturday
Sukhothai.
Sunday. Oh yeah, shouts to Joel.
and Sukhothai
Yep.
for-
But we just ran into a lot of fans of the show, man. It was actually really nice. Just that's
it was
all.
super cool.
Yeah.
Ran
it was super
into
cool. A lot of
couple
fans.
fans over at Hoop Queens today too.
Oh yeah, how was
Nice,
Hoop
yeah,
Queens, man?
nice.
That was great. Yeah.
So
we-
for people who don't know, what is Hoop Queens? Like, just give them the
Hoop
vibe
Queens
check.
is a summer league organized by Kisa K. It's been in effect for a couple of years now, but it is a women's summer basketball league. a multi-week tournament. I think it usually runs about 4 or 5 weeks. They used to run them over at the Humber College North Campus. Now they're in the Gold Ring Center at U of T, which is really convenient for a lot of people like us who live downtown in the city. It's a lot easier for us to access and get to. But it involves a lot of players, like semi-professional, some professional.
Nice.
I think players that are either in college or just coming out of. But just like a really good environment. If you ever like want to get a sense of, and like that's how I felt, especially before the announcement of the Toronto Tempo, like what women's basketball and like what the culture can feel like in the city. It's well worth like attending that and see what that's like. So, we saw friend and competitor of the show, Bree Johnson, today, returning to the court, getting back on the court, which is great.
Happy for her. Seriously, that's
no. It's yeah. For those who don't know, so we played with Bree in our first year of doing the sport media game, the one that Alex got MVP, and Bree absolutely cooked us on the court.
No. Hold on. You know that one shot that Andrew Andrew Nemhard hit over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Oh, you got hit with that.
Bing, bing, boom, boom, boom. Step back, three. I got hit with that from Bree.
You got hit with that from Bree.
I saw that years ago, man. That was nasty.
And the story is like over the last year, Bree was diagnosed with cancer, but has since gone through treatment and recovery and has been in remission, which is great.
Awesome.
And so has been getting back to the court. And for me, this is the first time I got to see them play, so it was a really nice sight to see. And yeah, honestly, it goes every Sunday for the next couple of weeks over at the Gold Ring Center. You can find them on Eventbrite. You can look up Hoop Queens on all socials. But yeah, well worth checking out. If you like watching some live basketball, it's a really fun time.
All right, I'm gonna pull through next weekend.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Will you pull through, Alex, since you've already celebrated Father's Day?
I'll be with all my my friends with absentee fathers.
There you go.
Goodness, man.
But no, good time. And yeah, no, we saw so many people. Like I think like Do West Fest kind of serves as like the kickstart to summer in Toronto, and as a result, yeah, we saw like a whole ton of people, and it's really nice. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Big shout out to people. All right,
we'll be back Wednesday after Game 3.
What do you want to talk about? I mean, like, how much more can these fake Raptors trade rumors hold us for? It's a real question,
you find a way, Will.
You know what? I do find a way, and I do write a thirsty
The beautiful thing about the NBA, aside from all of Adam Silver's screw-ups, is like the news cycles never stop.
Yeah.
Like between now and when we get back together on Wednesday, like after Game 3,
there's gonna be stuff.
Guaranteed there's gonna be at least like 2 or 3 major items, whether it's Raptors related or it's just like who else is gonna make themselves available.
And we'll always find something to talk about. Anyway.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've crossed the 2-hour mark once again. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to Joe Wolfond for joining us and entertaining the worst Yannick Sinner versus Carlos Alcaraz conversation that he's ever heard. He's like, I've just watched one of the greatest matches of all time, and you just like asked me who these guys are, which is incredible. Congrats to Portugal once again for winning Nations League, and Indiana Pacers go back. Tied 1-1. I guess we're all pulling for the Pacers, I think, but I don't know. OKC just looks like a much better team, but we'll have to see how the rest of the series goes. We'll cover it as it comes along, as with all things Raptors. The draft coming around the corner too. Bobby Webster coming around the corner as well. So many things to look forward to on the Hello and Welcome podcast, presented by Betway.